Me no kwe la funudalo.
Now, and then due to somebody's doing that caused me to die in a traumatic way, my anger towards the person who caused my death will be so much that I would want him also to die and join me to see if it is enjoyable or it's not enjoyable. That is the mentality of these people who die traumatic death. Okay, my son died before. I had a son, I think I told this story many times. He died in an accident. When he died, it was a car accident that was caused by one of my cars, and one of my sons was driving the car. The senior brother was driving the car when this accident happened, because I wasn't in the car, but what I heard is that before the accident, he was trying to he was a cerebral palsy person, so he couldn't talk. But when the brother was over speeding, he became afraid. So he was trying to tell the brother by trying to hold him, but the brother didn't really pay attention to him before the accident occurred. And he was the only one who died in the accident. So what had happened is that he had been appearing to his brother sometime on the window and all kind of thing, even before he would be buried. So we had to do certain rituals and ceremonies to stop him appearing, because he was basically angry that it is because of your negligence that I died. So if we hadn't done the things that we did, maybe his brother would have also died and followed in that. So and I also noticed another one in one of my senior brother's life. The junior brother had been saying all his life that he was suffering, and that the senior brother didn't really care for him. So in case during his suffering and he died, he's going to kill him. And that continued, but then my elder brother wasn't taking this serious. There was even a time that I went to do a reading somewhere, and this very message appeared that you have a senior brother whose junior brother died, and that junior brother is saying that he's going to kill him because of his negligence of his life without helping him. That's why he died. That's why he was doing the kind of job he was doing, and that job led to his death. When I told my brother, he got angry. He said, "Oh, okay, he killed me. What did I do? It is his own life and all this." And truly, he killed him. That's my very personal story, and very, very dear to my heart, because they both were my senior brothers. And we were seeing it like this, as if it is not anything, but eventually it happened. And not that we couldn't prevent it, we could, but then the party that was alive was not believing that that person who died could kill him. But it does happen. It did happen, and some things like this do happen sometimes. So, out of anger, sometimes people who die traumatic death want to revenge. And then we have tantric power here, Papa. Why is okay? That's what I've just answered. Okay. Then we have then or goes into the clothing. So this cloth, your spirit or your inner self, your say, notes that this is your cloth and you are wearing every day. So it becomes your friend or brother, like in the Polidu Letesa, Amenovienye Awu. So it's like your cloak becomes your brother, it's become your friend. So your everything, your spirit is in it. If someone wants to harm you, according to Eve Voodoo, which has happened many times, if someone wants to harm you, if they steal your clothing or your jewelry or anything, they can use that because your essay is connected to those things that you use very often. They can use it to be able to attack your destiny, which is you, your inner self. Supposing your inner self is not already well strengthened, then it is easy for people to target you through that. But if your inner self is strengthened very well, then even if they use your clothing and everything, sometimes it will be very difficult for them to get to a proper result. So yes, that's why even me, when I want to call people who died and I want to invoke their spirits, I need something that the person had touched before when the person was alive. And once I get that, I can now try to connect, and I also will ask, where was the person buried? In which part of the world, which cemetery, the address, or just giving me a location. And then when I start to do the reading, I can now transport myself to where the person's spirit is and connect with the person's spirit through the mirror and be able to communicate with the person and know what they want and what they are saying by me getting something that they had touched while they were in life. So this is true. People can also use that same technique to harm others if they so desire, and if they master the act of distraction, which is evil. We try as much as possible not to teach those negative aspects, because it will not benefit you, because everything you do, if you are successful in attacking somebody and destroying the person, don't forget, you will also pay for sure. That's why it is good to know that doing bad is good, but when you do it, be ready to receive the result, and you should accept the results that they are also good. Yes, to find out what happened before she died, and what was the situation in my father's house before the death. And then when we had that family, we call it death administration. So when we were having that meeting, my elder sister who died, she was a graduate teacher, and she was in the morgue. And before we would get her body to physical dead body to bury, they have to sit, the elders have to sit the whole family down to find out if there is any fight between the dead person and a living person. Because in our belief, if you and a dead person were fighting before the person died and you are alive, if they don't pacify the dead person or make some appeasement between you and the dead person, if you should visit the funeral grounds or even put money into the funeral or do something in connection with the funeral of that dead person, the dead person will kill you too. These are beliefs, and those beliefs are not only beliefs, but they were things that had happened over centuries and centuries, so people are aware that such things happen. So when a person dies in our every community, usually there will be a meeting held to discuss the living people and the dead. So one time, my elder sister died, and there was a conflict in my biological father's house with other wives' children. And then one sister died. The other junior sisters were trying to defend their mother, that their mother was not having any problem with the dead person before. the person died. Meanwhile, the truth was that their mother had some conflict with the dead person before the person died, and that should have been brought to the surface, and everybody will address it. Then if there's anything to do to the dead person, to pacify the dead person before bringing the body to the house to be buried. So there was we were at the meeting, and then before I knew, my junior sister, who was standing and trying to defend the mother, just fell in front of all the elders, and immediately she has a seizure, and foam started coming from her mouth. I mean, a healthy person who never had anything like that, just fell in front of everybody. And one of my cousin, who is a pastor, started saying Rabba Baba, and then I got angry. I told you, this is not Rabba Baba matter. This is one person is in the morgue already, and you want this other one to also to join her. So I just brought Akai out, and I called Akai, touch her, the person's head, and immediately the ghost left her, and she woke up. So these are things that happen physically. It is not story of anybody. It is not anybody far away. It is me, my own personal stories that people witness. So Akai is one that frightens certain kind of spirits. So especially traumatic death spirits or ghosts of people who died in Jobe. So it is not that he bring their this into him, but they fear him. So when he is present, they cannot act. Thank you very much for that question. That's why they work with me. I don't know, but they had never really controlled me or give me orders that you should be like this, should be like that, go and be a Rasta, go and be. No, they never gave me that. I'm just me. I live my normal life, but they work with me. But I have not been teaching about dwarfs, because most of the time the dwarfs that people talk about are all scam. So I hadn't been teaching, but recently there was an issue that came up, and I had to get one of the dwarfs from the spiritual room, and then I haven't even given it drink for almost 2 to 3 years. But then when I got it out and brought it in, I was looking for another dwarf that was a Japanese dwarf that I was working with. I didn't get it from Japan. I got it from Africa even before I knew that it was a Japanese team. So I was looking for it. I couldn't get it. And then the one that is the one I had been working with, there's a Ghanaian or African or everyone just told me that he is still there. So I went and brought it here, and everybody become fire. Started shaking everybody, throwing people down. Then I gave it to the boys, and they are using it daily, and I think they are seeing changes and real things happening to them. So when you come, just remind me of the dwarfs that are with me, and then I will introduce 1 or 2 to you to work. Okay?
Yes, thank you, Papa.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. So I prayed for everybody, and I'm thanking the spirits and also asking them to protect all of you through the week, open doors for you, give you good health, and make things that you are trying to achieve come your way. You are living is the one that is going to live when you drop this physical body off. So your essay is your God. It actually is the only God that you should look at first before anything else, because it is the totality of everything. Because without its approval, nothing happens in your life. Even for you to be rich, to be poor, to be clever, to get a good wife, to get a bad wife, it's all decided by your essay. That's how the Aves look at essay, as one of the paramount among the Trinity. That's why we give a lot of a name. You know here we give a lot of essay name to our children because it is the most celebrated God among the Trinity. Maoga Sobolisa, you will never hear anybody giving their children the name Sobolisa. And you will not hear anyone giving their children or their business Kitty Kata. But you hear people calling Esenyu, Esena, Sedinam, Seli, Sehonam, Sechuafia, Setonyu, Setowu, Sebuabe. All Ese. So Ese is the most celebrated God in the Trinity. So the Ebes look at the Ese as the main thing. Without the Ese, there is nothing that can happen in your life. If your Ese doesn't agree, nobody can kill you. So how will your Ese not agree before? How can your Ese be before you will not agree? Because you have to strengthen your Ese to the point that when people say they wanted to feed your Ese will tell them that no, I am full. I don't need food. So if they cannot feed the Ese, how can they attack the Ese? But if you don't know how to work your Ese and your Ese is weak and your Ese is hungry, if somebody wants to destroy you, they'll ask, they say, oh, what will you eat? So that your Ese Joto, which is in the human being, can live
in every cosmology, there are three gods. One is called Mao Sobo Lisa, the one that is always changing and changing and changing. Then there is the Mao Kitty Kata, who is a supporter of Mao Sobo Lisa and the one that is creating and overseeing the creation. And then the third one is called Mao Ese, the one that has brought each and every one individually or created human. So in every cosmology, there is one God who only creates human beings. There is the other one who created the world, and there's one who oversees it. So the Mao Ese is the one that creates each and every individual. So for you to be born on a Monday, to be born in America, born in Japan, or born wherever, it is your Ese. Ese is, in English, is called destiny. Every culture has a word for destiny. In our Akan language, it's called Nkrabia. And in Japan, they call it Umme, which is destiny. So every culture, whether Africa, Europe, Asia, wherever, they have a name for destiny in their language. And your destiny is not the same like another person's destiny. We all have different destinies. Just like our fingerprints. No two fingerprints are the same. So it is with destiny. So destiny is the one that directs your way when it makes you fall down, makes you wake up, makes you to grow up, makes you to become a leader or fail in life. It's all your destiny. Everything that happens to you in life, to get a good husband, a good wife, a good job, good education, parents that you will be born to, is all directed by destiny. You can be born by poor parents, but that's what your destiny chose for you. But then with that poor parents, maybe through their guidance, in a way, that is how you will be. So are people also born in royal houses and everything is on silver platter? They eat with golden spoons. It is their destiny. So destiny is the most powerful part of God in our culture. So today what I'm going to do is that I had already removed the bad destiny or the negative destiny for the person we are going to work for. And it's already gone. Now he has lived his life for a while and he felt that no, the bad destiny had been removed and things are moving for him, but he wants to really invite that God into his life to be fully in charge of him, and he will be in charge of the essay to direct his own destiny to whichever goal he wanted to get to. So that is what we are going to do today. To set essay. It has been molded already. Make the whole essay from the beginning. To include batting. Clothing. Feeding. And then drinking. It is because the essay is you. Sometimes you go to your essay when it's well created, and you go to your essay, sometimes it's smiling, sometimes it's angry. And it is said in Ava that if your essay is happy, you will be a happy person. If your essay is angry and is sad, you will be a sad person. So essay directs everything. Destiny. Now the churches and everything are having Destiny Summit. Destiny Summit. So that means there is something called destiny. And it is important. So if your destiny is not channeled properly or directed properly, you will just be going wherever without having head or tail to your life. But if your destiny is properly set, everything that is in your destiny must be realized. You must realize it. But it is you who has to work it, to let him work for you. Like we believe that God is in the heavens. That's what most religious people believe, that God lives in heaven. But you can't be here and be saying God lives in heaven, and you cannot ever go to heaven. Nobody had ever gone to where they call heaven. It is just an imagination. But at least you are here. You know you are here. You know yourself. If you are hungry, you know. If you are sad, you know. If you are happy, you know. If you are having a good job, you know. If your life is not going well with you, you yourself, you know. So what do you do to change it? That is the essay. In every cosmology, there are three gods.
guy broke it here. I have to sway. Liga, deja.
La petition. La petition pour
Il est suite. I swear.
When you are doing this ancestral hosting, the more people, the more the ancestors are. Oh, okay.
This is what I do. Don't get it confused. Yes, I'm alive. I'm a gorilla. Yes, I'm a gorilla. These people, my money is lost, so my family can't go. Money is lost, so my family. They know that. Yeah.
You, yeah. I'm a to pay you, yeah. I'm a to pay you, yeah. I'm a to pay you, yeah. I got cotton with a car. Nunca cara. Me la baji. Si Becky Temba Benuelo, Dube. Cabana, the Mijo. I'm a to pay you. me to pay you, yeah. Aha, 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 me to pay you, yeah. Margaret, Stabile, Moyo, Ngwenya.
Bona.
Maternal grandma. Simbanda Itiwi.
Idanuna mama amabe Sibanda Kitiwi. Oh, back by me.
Paternal grandfather Philip Dube.
But you talk me the Tokpaji amabe Philip Dube. If you Sibeki.
Yetasi Jessica Dube.
You're auntie. Amabe Sibeki.
Jessica Dube.
Jessica Dube. Yavi Sibeki.
Yetasi Gladys Moyo.
But you're Gladys
Moyo.
But you're Moyo and
Magumbo family.
Grandfathers and grandmothers. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. And good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, wherever you find yourself at this moment. Thank you very much for joining the live streaming of African Magic Temple and Revolution. We are very grateful for you joining us. I'm going to be a host. I am Christopher Voncujovi. Thank you, and thank you. And I'm saying hello to people on Clubhouse, people on Zoom, and Facebook and YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us. Is it okay? Okay. Okay. So let me drink my water. So I'm going to pour a little libation to the ancestors, to the voodoos, the spirits, and the angels, the archangels, the saints, whatever you want to call them. I don't have a problem with that. And then we can take off from here. Oh, Mauga, Mauga Sobolisa Manduago, Mauga Kitikata Manduago, Mauga Ese Joto, Amejoto, Ese Enanuame, Ese Etenanuame, woman of Pevi, Dokuna Pevi, woman of Pevi, Median, Dokuna Pevi, Bena, Dokuna Pevi, Median, woman of Pevi, Bill, sending me your Manduago, we are set to Polico said at Tafia. Se Joto, Amejoto, Senanuame, Seti and Mame, the Yora Duago, Se Georgie, my Georgie, Mayo. Yashime Hamfora show, Pacific for a show, begin to go. Abraxas. Abraxas mayors and the Kudo and the Tower Vinoqua. Oh, Vesato, Cameo and Dog. Eh, Mayor Mianas are dear, and you Zoka Katikas, but you are dreaming of having a woman and giving a woman to all on the Mayor. When I am Baba for playing Bamando, the Canavi matter, put the take that. come and change the light to warm light. It's not. Oh, my, you kind, but you kind, my kind, you kind, you kind, trouble, kind, you kind, if you kind, you are kind. Remember, I had a door lock and then you fit on something that you. I am good. I am a hobab, or Kaku, Zango, young people, you are a wood job at Jomaki. For coming when you got change light and so warm. Jopata, Jomaku. Yeah. For cover volume, you choose volume, you quarter from a you put to make color combination that is too white. For cover volume, you choose volume, but you could quarter performance of you have a job when you try a woman you to. I'm quite a quick when you let him but over the two of women not to put a Jopata. Happy and Jovova, Jopata, Nepia, Jopata. I throw my bed down more. Have you fabric lady? No, I think Ajolo Jopata. And Jopata, I tell me, you must make body little to wait that a quality is Bolu Ajima. Or Bojukulo Roger, comment. But I think I family over, Lord Joan, I go Sapa Temayo, Mati de Limayo, Lord Dumayo can La Fiat. Please put the fan off so that I can get the Ajo coming towards the Abuchi. Eme yo amagasi se genya papa sese. Se to genya. Wa. Dwago me yo brahini me yo gbogbochi me yo ngbe me yo foli bo foli koko mo de ke gbogbo godo. Preacher kuma komlaga to genya pete me nya yo. Me yo to nya kospe kwa ku yo no nya koso go ku foli ko ngbe. Tasi nya mo si fusi jam koso. Amanya bodwe mba to genya ko ko fi to genya ku bia mensa dori pe ngbe pe ku no. To genya mama nyo me na halo. Kuto me fana mi gbogbo me na gbogbo me fana mi ke pe video ne ni yosia. Godo. Dagbe jimi yo mi do ndoile. Asinedi ganeba. Na osisereba agbere na gbetepe. Demi yo mi ato na mi oyin nyile ngogbe na ni. Nyime no ngona me kada mo sia. Fa ha ni anu. Yo ponye Celestine ya wakubia Catherine na kubia funya sense ko funya ya obe na kubia. Kuto me fana mi lo. Na gbogbo me fana. Me yo mi ato na o mba chicha chufu ya kubia sisi ya penye e ka to me nsa. Kuto me fana mi gbogbo. Me yo awu no tuji boko tuji tobo tuji me yo kini na sa ko chicha bara so bara na me yo kuto me fana me yo boko adafi so pa ho kuto me fana me yo boko afacha wa do kuto me fana me yo ehunu le ba pa ehunu le gbe abega kuto me fana ni gbogbo me yo tobo ya nani tire tu le jita tobo ya Abraham jibe no le chame tobo ko kuto me fana ni gbogbo me ya me yo tobo fi atosi mon kabi le abenina si agotime kuto me fana me Daniel vie pe mare le agbaro le Nigeria da kuto me fana ni godo me na sinedi never na se never me yo aboti sakra kama chwa be adogo kutokoli donko kuri maku abone mbe to me no le to friend to me ko be sinkra ko fito japaku ocho to ko fito he ko fi atra me yo kable me yo mi apete me yo fana go no afagbo ma so ko zi pe to mo so le me da pa bi me yo kwali be meji e ku meji wo meji di meji lo so meji mo meji abla meji akala meji buda meji sa meji ka meji trupe meji tura meji lete meji che meji fu meji ko che tura me yo ko bi lo po tawado mi ko ne do akai me wala doli nya wala sinedi taneba inje dogo bele ene gbe ano nunam anye gbe ano to munam se hey yeah, we are on now. So we have Daniel Simpson on Zoom. Daniel, how are you? Thank you very much for joining the section. If you are still there, please we can start with you. I think she's not there.
She's there.
She's there?
Yes.
Okay. Because of the rain, they should feed the birds very early.
Yes.
Okay, we have Daniel Simpson.
Hello, Papa, I'm here.
Daniel, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Yes, sure, I can hear you.
Okay, so I don't know if you've answered this question before in the past, but when you commune with the dead, methods do you use? Do you use Afa or do you use another form of divination?
Okay, that's a beautiful question. When I commune with the dead, I use the mirror, not Afa. But Afa also can do it, but the mirror has a connection with the dead. That's why when you are even receiving the mirror, you have to sleep on the grave, and that's where you get you'll be connected to someone who has died already, or people who had used the mirror during their lifetime and they are no more physical in the physical world. They are the ones that you connect with, and they are the ones that when you are using the mirror will reveal things to you. So for me, when I want to connect to the dead, I use the mirror.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too, Daniel. We are very grateful. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go on to YouTube and see. We have Togbe Jigbeza Sosoka. Greetings and good day, Papa. Bokor Enuledo. Togbe Jigbeza America Medina Enuledo now. Togbe Jigbeza. Thank you. One person does not bow. Me too, I am bowing down to you. Togbe Jigbeza. Thank you very much. And then we have Barbara Paddy say, good afternoon, Papa. Hello, Barbara. Good afternoon. Thank you. And then Joe Dega is saying, fire. Yes, we are here. We'll see how we go today. Bring your questions in and we'll see how we can answer them. I have Mario Young. Good evening, Daddy. And AMT family. Greetings from India. Thank you very much, Mario. How are you? How is the family over there? Thank you very much for joining the section, and I'm very grateful. We have Joe Dega saying Baron Samdi is the spirit of the dead. Okay. Baron Samdi, I think it's Saturday Samdi. Huh? Okay, so Baron Samdi so means Baron Saturday is the spirit of dead. Yeah, of course, Satan. Not Satan as in Christian church. I'm talking about the planet Saturn. It's a Saturday planet and also is the black planet, and as of course it can also be the spirit, the planet of the dead people. We have Danilo Imberile here. What is the difference between Afa initiate and Abraham initiate from the perspective of being sensitive to energy? I don't know who is Abraham initiator. That's why I've never heard it before. So I don't know whether there is anything called Abraham initiate or Abrahamic initiate. The Abrahamic faiths are Christianity and Islam. Whether there's any initiation done in that apart from the water they pour on your head, don't know. Or they dip you inside some river or in some pond and they say you are now born again. I don't know what is Abraham initiate. Danilo say Abraxas, okay, not Abraham. Okay, then it was the automatic spelling that brought that Abraham. Okay, it is Abraxas. And the Afa is totally different from Voodoo. When we initiate people into Abraxas, we are actually dealing with spirits that are spirits of nature. And then, of course, Abraxas is a spirit, a greater spirit of consciousness. What would I call it? The consciousness that gives you knowledge and wisdom. That is what Abraxas is. And Abraxas is totally different from Afa is Afa. It has its own quality. Abraxas doesn't have quality. When they initiate you on the spot, it shows itself and it manifests in your own life, and you can see it. It's not like they're telling you go and come back. Yes, of course, there are certain people when they are initiated, it doesn't come with the full force, but as time goes on and they continue practicing, it will come with its full force. So, Abraxas initiation is a part of the AMT or African Magic Temple initiation. In the African Magic Temple, we have three deities that we put as our patron deities. One is Akain, another one is Jopata, and then the third one is Abraxas. So these are the trinity or the trio deities of our shrine, what I work with. Afa is coming from somewhere apart from my shrine. I went to learn Fa, and I let my children also got Fa. They all got initiated. But I have my Abraxas, my Akai, my Jopata, and all my deities and Vodus long ago before getting initiated into Fa. So Afa initiation is totally different from our AMT or Voodoo initiation. So thank you, Danilo. Danilo say Afa initiate sensitive to energies. No, that is not the way. Afa, the energies or the deities in Afa are already. You just need to learn it like mathematics and understand that when you are doing add mass, there are certain things you use. When you are doing whatever logarithms or whatever, there are certain things you have to use. That's what AFA is. It is something that has been already organized and predated, and it's there. And if you are able to study it, you know it. So when the oracle falls, you only go back and refer to what had always been written about that particular oracle. But for the feeling of energy and sensitive to energies, I have not yet seen any AFA initiate in that field yet. If there are, yes, there may be, but I don't know them, and I have not seen any. So Danilo, that's what it is with AFA. AFA is a very deep science. You cannot even explain it. So it is good to know all, because if half knowledge is not complete. When you have all the knowledge, then you can now compare, you can now tell, and you can judge for yourself and know whether it is real or it is just for fun. So Danilo, that's it. So if you are going to get initiation, I will say get the two. Thank you. Okay, so let's go to Facebook. Okay, we have on Facebook about 43 minutes ago, Beverly Gideon. My dad, please, I need your number. Okay, Gideon, our numbers are there already on our listing, but they will still type it for you, to see. So thank you very much. And Gideon was again saying Amen. Then we have a Gideon just saying Amen, Amen. Okay, we are not Christian people. So we have our sister, a very top fan and a very devoted student of African Magic Temple, who had been initiated here, and I'll be initiated into all the three deities as well as into her destiny. Kadi Fisher saying greetings, family. Thank you very much, Kadi. How have you been? It's been a while. Hope everybody is fine. I'm saying my greetings to all, to your sister and the whole family. We have Anita Mayer saying Amen. What happened before people are saying Amen? Or the prayer I prayed? Maybe. Okay. That in the libation. Okay, thank you. Because that Amen, I don't know. We say in every Ache. Beverly Gideon say, I love you so much, my dad. Thank you very much, Gideon. Thank you. We are very grateful for you joining the section. And then we have our big sister Oluchi Osuwoke in France. Peace and love, Papa, and to the family. My regards. Thank you very much, big sister. I'm very grateful that you joined. We are here for you. Okay, I think they have given the number to Gideon Beverly. It's there 0262367578. Those are the numbers. If you want to see me, you call and then they will book an appointment for you to meet me. Thank you. And these numbers are the only numbers that African Magic Temple is using. Thank you. Okay, we are going to Zoom, and now I can see we have Baba Wakiri at Zoom in his studio. Thank you very much and welcome, Baba Wakiri. How are you? Thank you for coming. Yeah.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Papa. Thank you for having me, and thank you for being a consistent light here. I am honored to be able to join Zoom today.
Thank you very much, Baba Wakiri. We are very grateful that you join us, and let's take a very good ride. And everybody, prepare your questions, ask me questions, and let's see how we can all learn from one another. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Baba Wakiri.
Oh, okay. I would like to ask a question.
Go ahead.
Okay. In Yoruba, we call it Oropo, but they call it bitter cola. The one that Ebioso takes. Not the Polo, but the smaller one. If you can maybe go into that and some understanding of the spiritual aspects of it, what it is, just give us some common knowledge or some sacred knowledge. I don't know what it is called in their vet, but they call it Oropo Viticola.
Okay, in Ewe, we call Orobo Lobo. Lobo. That's how the Eves call it. So in Ewe spirituality, we have the Trinity, the three things that form the base of, the base of Ewe spirituality or voodoo as the base of voodoo. We have Ata, Evi, Lobo, Ata, Evi, Lobo. These three points are the things that form the base of Ewe spirituality, especially when it comes to voodoo. Ata is the Atare in Yoruba. We will call it Atakwi. The Yoruba call it Atare, and we will call it Atakwi. That is the Ata. Then Evi is the small kola nut, the one that has 4 face, 3 face, 7 face. We call it Evi in Evi. Then the last one is the Orobo, and we call it Lobo. So we have Ata as in Atare, Evi as in the small kola nut that has many faces, and then we have the Orobo or Lobo as in bitter kola. So we have Ata V Lobo, Ata Evi Lobo. These are the Trinity that form the base of Ewe spirituality. Because before you can empower any voodoo, or even give initiation to people, it is these three, either all the three together, or one out of the three, or 2 out of the 3 are supposed to be present. If they are not present, then there is no exchange of power. There is no exchange of energy. So these 3 voodoo items are the base of African traditional spirituality. Ata, V logo, which is Atare, a V. People call it a Nigerian cola, and then the Orobo as the or logo as our people call it. So these are the three bases or the Trinity in every traditional spirituality. They form the base of Trinity. They are the ones and the only ones that you can use to exchange power or to give power to anyone, to pass power on, or even to invoke an energy to be able to be present and work with you. Without any of these three, you are just playing a game with yourself or self-deceit. So that is the spiritual aspect of Lobo or Orobo as in Yoruba. That's how our people use these three. See, one thing I have come to realize is that the Ewe people and the Yorubas, somewhere, somehow along the way, they had interacted with each other and they had been so close to each other that their language has so interwoven that we, being far away from Nigeria, may not be able to pronounce the words the way it is pronounced in Yoruba. So somehow it has been adulterated. So we call it, we know what we are calling, but maybe that is not the way it is called in Yoruba, but it's a one way or the other of an adulterated Yoruba word. Like our people are talking about Orunmila. Orunmila being a Yoruba word for God or for the Christ or whatever you may call it. We will call it Lumina. In Ewe they say Lumina. It's the same Orunmila, but because the word or the Yoruba word has been adulterated and people do not even know the origin of the word, so people say Lumina, Lumina, Lumina. But the real original word is Orunmila. So when we say logo, actually we are talking about Orobo. So Baba Wakili, that's my take on your question.
Thank you, Papa. It's a very serious take because those are heavy things that you have said. And as I learned and grow, these simple, small things do so much and have so much cleansing and power in them and elevation. I'm thankful. I always say, I'm not one to get into, what is right or who is doing wrong. I feel that, especially quote unquote, being the African American, right? That it's a beautiful thing because we get to see all of the world and see what we want to take hold of. One thing I always enjoy is learning and putting together. So if they call it local in Ewe, that it is local there, and then it is a local here. But they both have their meanings. I know you say adulterated Yoruba, but I think once it comes outside of the land of Yoruba, it does transform into the land that it is in. So I thank you for sharing the knowledge and wisdom of those three things from the land that they are in and how you all use the name as well.
Thank you, Baba Wakili. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Because you see, language is very beautiful, and then like in Afa, the Yoruba call it Ifa, and the Eves call it Afa, and I think the Igbos and the Benins and other people also call it Afa. It is only the Yorubas that call it Ifa. But when we go into it, we say Bemeji, Yeku Meji. There is no, in Ewe, there is no word as Meji. There is no word in Ewe which is Meiji. But because our people have learned this from the Yorubas, they have adulterated the word like Jogbe, which is Bemeji in Yoruba. Our people call it Jongbe. But the real pronunciation is Jogbe. But as time went by and people learning and forgetting the root words or where the word came from, we say Jongbe. And it is the same thing, and everybody say Jongbe. So when you ask an Ewe person or Ewe person who is into Afa, what is the first sign of the oracle of Afa, they will call it Jongbe. But the word actually came from Yoruba, Jogbe. So there's so much connection and history between the Ewes and the Yorubas. That very, very close.
Thank you, Papa. I have one more question dealing with these three.
Okay.
With the low bet, or low, would you say that this is a very strong cleanser? Like one can go through a process of turning this into ash and cleaning with this to alleviate negative to the spirits or to gain abundance of life. What would you say about cleansing with low bet?
Are you talking about Orobo?
Yes.
Yeah, the Orobo, it has its own physical aspect of cleansing. And like people suffering from diabetics and all these things, eye problems and whatever, and then also a weak erection in men, a lot of people chew the what do you call it? Chew that orobo and swallow the juice or the sap in it in order to reactivate. I think they have some scientific this knowledge of that. But then our people, whether this is proven scientifically or not, that is yet for me. I have not made any study on it. But our people will say that, oh, if you are suffering from this, just chew this. If you are having cough and your chest is congested, chew the orobo or bitter cola. And if you are a man and you are having weak erections, please chew bitter cola. These are what our people say. But whether that is scientifically proven or not, but I believe strongly that when we go onto the net, we will find some medicinal, herbal, what do you call it, answers to the worobo as a plant. But it's also a herb somehow, even though it's not a leaf, but it came from a tree. So it is a cleansing thing. And then to use it spiritually, it's also there must be a way that someone will give you a direction, or people who know will tell you that, okay, if you want to cleanse yourself, you should use the orobo in this way, that way, and give it to either you give it to a particular deity, or you go and throw it somewhere and it shows that you cleanse yourself. But I'm not very much familiar with how to use it for cleansing. I am not sure I know that much, but I believe very strongly there are methods that are used in our tradition to use it to cleanse yourself. It's only that I don't know that, but there is.
Yes, thank you, Pablo. But you have said a very strong thing that it is used for the transference or the creation
Yes.
of spirit in Unum. And these things are not present
Thank you to Baba Wakiri. So because if you don't have any of these three, the Atakwi or Atari, Oworobo as in bitter cola, and a V as in the small cola that has many faces, there is no transfer of power and there is no communication with any voodoo whatsoever.
That is all I have for now.
Okay, so we go on to Facebook where we have Daniel. Who? Coco. Okay, Coco, go ahead, please.
Hi, I wanted to ask about Percocet for cleansing.
For cleansing.
Yes.
What do you want to ask about cleansing? Because the network is not that beautiful. It's not very clear. But ask me. Let me get a question clear and see if I can answer.
Using Percocet in baths or spiritual baths, and also burning Percocet.
Okay. Thank you, Coco. You know, Prekese is I don't know so much about Prekese as in spirituality or as in voodoo, but Prekese is used by many people to cook food in Ghana and especially by the Akans. Prekese is not a very common spice in the Ewe area where I come from, but then in the Akan area of Ghana, where people speak Akan or the same, Prekese is very, very important. And I heard it has a lot of things to herbal potency for different diseases. But I don't know so much about Prekese until later in my life when I was introduced to it. That when you are using it to cook your food or you boil it and you are drinking, it reduces stress and also help your blood to purify your blood and help this thing. So I was not brought from the background of Prekese, but in Ghana it is used very much, especially in the Akan community. But in the Ewe community, unless the person has some relationship with the Akans, from my childhood, my mother's never cooked Prekese as anything, but I grew up to know it. So I don't know any spiritual efficacy or significance of Prekese as at now. There may be and there are, but I'm yet to learn that. Thank you very much, Coco.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Thank you very much, Coco. It's all there. You should like them, especially Facebook, so that we know what we have answered already and what we have not answered.
Yes,
Okay. Okay, so let's go to the YouTube.
yes.
Okay, we are now on YouTube and we have SB. Okay, let's go. Oh, there's so many. Okay, let's go all the way to the top first. Danilo Imberile say, when a man is old, what can he do before his death to introduce his spirits to his kids so that after he dies, they can continue to use the spirits to benefit themselves? Danilo Imberile, it is not when a man is old before he will introduce his kids to his spirits. How many days would he have to teach them before he died away, while the spirits are there and they don't know what to do with it? So it's not a question of a man has to get old before introducing his spirits to his children. A man has to start teaching his children from the very day the children are born, by letting them to know the energies, the spirits, the deities that he as a father had associated himself with. So it is not that the man has to get older when he's about to die before he introduces his children to spirits or his spiritual knowledge or wisdom. To my own understanding, I think a father or a mother should be able to introduce his children to his spiritual wisdom from the very day that they are born, or even before they will be born. The father has to introduce his spirituality to his children. Reason being that it is that spirituality that is helping you, the father, to make things happen. And it is also that spirituality that has brought these children into your life. So why hide your spirituality from your children until you are about to die before you teach them? And then are you doing that because you believe that when you are dead, then your children could learn all the same after you are gone? No. You have to start teaching your children from the very day they become your children, whether they are born or they were not born, and you accept them as your children. You have to start teaching them. So it is not until you are about to die before you teach your children about your spiritual knowledge and wisdom. Danilo Imberile again says, when someone gets afar to benefit his life and fix his birth destiny, what is the difference between getting afar to fix your destiny and doing the essay, the white essay clay you build to fix destinies? Yeah, Danilo Mberele, essay that we call essay lide agbame. Essay lide agbame is the one that you see the white essay in a plate. That is the Eve's way of setting up essay as in Vodou. That's why in Afa they call the one in the plate essay lide agbame, which is the way the Eves, the Yeve people, or the original Eve essay is set up. On the other hand, the Akpoli that you get when you get Afa, Akpoli is the deity or the Odu that falls for you when you are initiated into Afa. That one in Eve is called Ese Boli. It's also called Ese. It is called Ese Boli. These two, Ese Boli and Ese Lide Agbame, they complement each other. They complement each other in the sense that your destiny, you can see it is set up for you and it is working for you. And when you get Afa, you will now get the roadmap or the blueprint of your life in the Afa or in the initiation of getting into Fa. So now you get the blueprint of what you are supposed to be, and then you have the Eselida Gbame as an image of representing your Ese Dada, your mother that sent you into this world, and they work hand in hand. So people who got Afa, they got Ese, and people who got Ese, most of them also got Fa, so that they now complement these two destiny points. One is from Afa, which is a Yoruba base, and then one is from the Eve, which is the Vodou base. So this is the difference between the Eselide Agbame and Esekboli. Esekboli is the Afa initiation, and Eselide Agbame is the Vodou initiation. Then we have a Red Aim Gaming 007. Hi, sir. I'm from India. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Red Aim Gaming. I am from Hokwe in the Volta region. Thank you. And then we have SB saying greetings, Bokor Christopher and AMT family. A few years back, I hear a pastor say, don't answer calls from a certain country for a month because of people using black magic over the phone lines. That black magic doesn't come to my shrine. So I don't know. People, how can somebody call you from somewhere and it's black magic? Indians don't have black magic. People who do not know about India sit down here and create stories because when we were children in the 60s, Indian movies or cinemas were the very cheap ones that our country could buy. India and Chinese movies. So they were the ones that were coming into our place. Once in a while, there is a Hollywood movies, but I believe strongly that the Hollywood movies were more expensive than the Bollywood uh, uh, and the Chinese movies. So our countries were buying more of Chinese and Indian movies. Like in my village, every Friday is Indian movie time at our theater, the theater that we all grew up knowing. It's called the Volta Cinema. We always on Fridays is Indian movies, and in those Indian movies we see power being demonstrated, spiritual power being demonstrated. Very little did we know that people were just acting. We didn't know that those people were actors, and even if we knew, we could not really relate what was happening in on the screen with acting. So people tend to believe that India had so much power. It's so powerful that people could be flying in the air, people could do all kind of things. But until I had gone to India to study in India, and I realized that a lot of things were just stories of olden days. So when people say that a number calls you from India or from anywhere, and that a number is having a negative spirit, so once you get the number, what about if a good business wanted to come for you from India at the same time? And just because they say don't pick any number from India, you are not going to pick any number, and then you miss that business opportunity. Meanwhile, the person who has propagated these lies is not going to feed you. Let us be very practical about our approach towards spirituality. Spirituality is not a game. It is not self-deceit. Spirituality is reality. But then you must use a lens of legitimate, what do you call it? This English word. Something that is real, that you can trust within yourself. Use that to judge spirituality. It is not just a game. So people should always use their open mind and open hearts to judge and search and question whatever you are told. It is not just accepting anything that anyone tells you without really experimenting it with logic and reasoning. If you don't experiment it with logic and reasoning, don't just believe because they say so. Just like how we were told that there is milk and honey in heaven. Meanwhile, in the sky, there's no building there. And nobody has gone to drink that honey and milk and came back here to tell us how tasty it is or it was. Yet still, our fathers, our mothers, our grandfathers, great-grandfathers had believed in this, and they are still waiting to go and drink honey and milk in heaven. Instead of going to the supermarket and buy honey and milk and drink in their houses, they are waiting to go to heaven. And people choose to become lazy because they feel that it is when they get to heaven, everything is there. It's a deceit. It's a myth. It does not exist. If it doesn't exist, why is the pastor and the people who form the churches, they are enjoying their heaven here? Have you ever seen the Pope crying to go and drink milk in heaven before? Or have you seen any of your Pentecostal and charismatic church fathers praying that they want to go and drink the milk in heaven? They can go to the supermarkets and the big stores and buy milk and honey and bring to the house for themselves and their children to drink. They are not waiting to go to heaven. It's you who is not knowing anything. You are stupid and foolish. That's why you believe that you are going to go to heaven before you drink milk. Cows are here on this ground. They are not in heaven. So where is the milk going to come from before going to heaven? We have cows in this world. When you have been looking into heaven, how many cows have you seen walking in the streets in heaven before you believe that there's milk there for you to go and drink? Let's think seriously. SB, some of these things are all just deceits and to fool you and play on your intelligence. So thank you very much for that, Quenchi. And SB is saying today, this sounds like the pastors are either ill-informed and ill-equipped to handle spiritual matters. Have you heard of people sending spirits curses through the phone lines? No, I have not heard anybody sending curses through phone lines. Yes, but sometimes besa, it is when your ears hears it, that is when it is effective. So if somebody want to put a juju on you and the person call you on phone and the person has spiritual power in his mouth and he says it, then when you hear it, it can affect you. But the one that they are talking about, India and all this, forget it. It's all a joke. Okay, we have a SB again saying, or is it just the Christians who send spirits over the phone lines, then protect themselves by not picking the line? They are too funny. Yes, they are very funny people. Very, very funny people, because you know Christianity is really built on intimidation and deceit. Christianity is built on intimidation and deceit. That's why they always tell you, oh, you are not praying, you are not going to church, you are going to go to hell. And the church is where all the evil and crimes happen. Church is where all these evil things are happening. I don't remember anybody coming outside from heaven to come and become a criminal in our countries, or coming from hell, who will come here and steal money from government coffers, or when monies are given to them to build water, to give water to communities, and they steal the money, or they stole the money, or run away with the money, or anything. No, there's nobody came from hell. It is the very people who live in this earth, in these countries, are the ones who commit the crimes. They're the ones who take advantage of other people. And then when they are caught, they say it is the devil who sent me. And there is no one who can go and catch the devil, because it does not exist. But I thank God that I was not a policeman. If I were a policeman and you say devil is the one who did the thing, I would tell you to take me to the devil so that I can arrest the devil. But if you cannot show me the devil, then I tell you, you are the devil. So Christianity is built on intimidation, deceit, and funny stories. I'm not against Christianity, but the ones that are practiced in our countries are based on this. Then we have Danilo Imberile say, Papa, when someone is not destined to be a priest or spiritualist in African tradition, what can the person do to still grow spiritually as individual? How do you know whether you are destined to be a priest or you are not destined to be a priest? See, some of these things, until of course you yourself you have gone to be initiated and they tell you that you cannot be a priest. See, the people we say that they are destined to be a priest are only few. But that doesn't mean that other people who chose to become priests sincerely, without thinking of making money out of people when they become priests, like Christianity, or those things, can become priests. Because what is the work of a priest? Priesthood is to be able to be the voice of the unknown. You are supposed to be the voice of the unknown energy called God. And if you decide to be the voice of the unknown, then you must make all the efforts in your life to be on a very straight path in order for you to be able to receive the information from the unknown that you can now dispense to other people. So, to say that if somebody is not destined to be a priest, how do you know you are not destined? Have you ever checked your destiny? Do you know what your destiny has for you? So don't just jump into conclusion and say if somebody is not destined to be a priest. Me, I have never heard anywhere somebody will say that, oh, this person is not destined to be a priest. I've never heard. The only thing that happens is when you are to be a priest, no matter how much you run away, you will be drawn back to the same old path. You can run to the end of the world. If God really chose you and wanted you to work for him, there's no way you can run away. But it is not only priests that do the work of spirituality. It is not everybody who can become a priest in this world. We can all not become carpenters, and we can all not also become lawyers and judges or politicians. We all have different professions chosen for us, different careers chosen for us by our destinies. So it is not everybody who has to be a priest. But there are certain people who are not even priests. They do works that enhance the work of God. They do work that enhance the work of Voodoo or Ifa or Afa or anything spirituality. They may not be priests themselves, but they can always be either in the front or at the background to support whatever other people are doing. We are all not born to be priests. But if you somewhere along the way you chose to be a priest, or you decide, or your inner self is calling you to be a priest or be the voice of the unknown, then who is a priest and who is not a priest? You think that when they pour water on your head or they pour oil on your head, that is only when you can be a priest? No. There are so many people who maybe water and oil may be poured on their head, but they may not be priests. And there's someone who, from their inner self, the desire to serve God and work on with the unknown is stronger than some people who are even initiated. So you must find what your destiny is, but don't just sit down that you are not destined to be a priest. How do you find out? Get initiated. When you get initiation, your life will be laid before you, and you will know what you want and what you are supposed to do in this life. So don't just sit on the fence and say, we are not destined to be priests, so that's why we are not doing it. If you have interest in serving God, go forward and serve God. Thank you. And then we have David Dua Baba. My father, whom I have been disconnected from for some years, has become sick with cancer. He has conducted rituals for negative reasons in the past. Is there anything I should do to cleanse him? No, I don't know. I don't even know who your father is. I don't know what he has done, as you are saying. There is nothing I can tell you to use in cleansing him. Maybe it is his own karma that is catching up with him. Then we have Joe Dega saying, can I still marry my girlfriend if I marry a spirit? Your girlfriend is a human being. Spirit is a spirit. Your girlfriend can born a child for you if you marry her. No spirit can give you a child. Even if they want to give you a child, they will only pass it through human being. So I don't even know how people get married to spirit. I don't know. I think this question came up last time. I don't know how people get married to spirit. I mean, I'm not married to any spirit, but I'm doing spiritual work. I never call any spirit my wife. They are my partners in spiritual field, and I am their partner on the physical field. So I don't see what people say I marry spirit or spirit married who. Joe, these things are not very clear to me. I know people say them, but me in my spiritual practice, I've never married any spirit before. And I don't think any spirit want to marry me. And I don't think I'm also even going to agree to marry spirit or spirit marry. For what? I'm enjoying life in this place here and I say spirit. We are partners. What I cannot see, they will see. What they cannot do here, I will do. That's how we work. So Joe Dega was laughing because of the milk and the honey. Yes. How can you say that you want to go to heaven before you drink milk and honey? Meanwhile, milk is in the supermarket. Just work hard and get some few coins in your pocket. You can buy milk. You don't need to wait for heaven. Okay, we have the Togbe Sosike saying, I go now, Bokor. Thank you for a very lively, witty, and insightful live chat today. Thank you very much, Toby. We are very grateful. And then we said, Lamisesemple Aboka Drika now. Akpe, the same to you. Lamisesemple Aboka Drika. And Donenje Doji. Akbenenje Akbeji. Akbega Katobi. Yes, let's go where we have Kwame on Zoom. Yes, Kwame, please unmute your listen and let's talk.
So good afternoon, Papa. First of all, I want to say, your show is very informative, and I appreciate you, sharing that information every week. That's first and foremost. I did have a few questions. The first question I had was basically, we talk about, a lot of different herbal, like trees and stuff, and basically the elements that come with those trees. But what about minerals? Like, when we look at gold or we look at zinc, is there also spiritual elements that come with those type of minerals?
Yes, we have metals that are also spiritual. If you see our logo here, if you can see, we have this is a metal on combination of three metals, and these three metals we have brass, and we have bronze, and then we also have iron. These are the three metals that it's showing. These are the three metals that form. And then, of course, in some of the voodoos that we create, sometimes we put gold, we may put silver, we may put quicksilver, which is mercury, and then sometimes we put gold dust. Depending on which metal that the spirit uses, you will have to add. There are some spirits who uses iron, and then iron must be put into their spirit, either into the voodoo itself or where the voodoo will stay. So just as herbs are used in traditional African spirituality, so are metals also used. These metals are different metals, and they are used. That's why in Ewe culture, when we say herbs, when we talk about herbs in Ewe culture, we are not talking about only plants. We are talking about stones, we are talking about metals, and we are talking about other elements as well. So metals are also equally used, just like how herbs are used, because most of the do's are created by using all these elements in nature to combine to create a point where a spirit can dwell and work. Yeah. So that is what it is.
I see. And the next question that I had, and basically I was maybe to be more informative to the whole group, is, a lot of times you may have a man or you may have a woman, and they may be looking for a spouse. And for them to find a spouse, maybe they have a particular person in mind. So sometimes they may find that they want to go to a spiritual person to see if this spiritual person can bring that person to them, to make them one. But sometimes the person, when they go to that spiritual person for them to do the work, sometimes the person themselves don't know what the person will do to do that work. And can you talk upon maybe the ramifications it will have on the other person when they go to someone to do that type of work? You know, them themselves, they don't know. But when they go and bring it to someone, it may impact that person in a negative way. But the person themselves, they don't know. I don't know if you understand what I mean or not.
Yes, I understood a little bit about what you say, but then, let me say it from my point, if that's what you are saying. You were trying to explain that if someone wanted a lover or wanted someone that he or she is attracted to, and now he wanted or she wanted to use spiritual energy to bring that person that he or she is attracted to closer to them. Is that what you are trying to say?
Yes, and then basically the ramifications, because sometimes depending who's doing the work, sometimes the work won't be doing good work for them to bring the person, and it could actually hurt the other person. But the person, they don't know that what they're doing to bring the person to them.
Okay. Okay. You see, when you do a spiritual work to attract something or anything, you are sending in energy and you are invoking the essence of the spiritual entities that you are working with to make you compatible or to create a good atmosphere so that you and the person you are trying to attract will have a very similar kind of wavelength so that the two of you can run. But what happens is that sometimes the person you are trying to win over to your side may not be good for you. May be good for you, you don't know. That's why at our shrine, it's a long process, but anytime somebody wanted to do anything, we will do a reading. Whether this person that you are trying to attract, is it good for you? Is he or she not good for you? If she comes into your life, will it bring good luck? If he comes into your life, will it bring good luck to your life? It is from this base that we will now decide what work to do for you to bring that attraction and to make it happen. And then it should also not be detrimental to the person you are trying to attract at any cost. The feelings should be mutual feeling, understanding should be mutual, and that alone that can bring the closeness. But the most of the time when people go for a traditional priest, instead of them asking the traditional priest whether this person is compatible with me or not, or if I associate with this person, will it be detrimental to me or will it be detrimental to the person? People do not ask those questions. All that they want is that I love this person, I want this thing. And no matter how much a very sensitive and a very clever spiritualist will try to explain, the people will feel that no, I want. And sometimes you want, and if you force and ask the spirits to help you, and if they do, without doing a reading and knowing what will be the outcome and the consequences of the relationship that you are trying to attract, what may happen is that the person may come into your life, but the person's presence in your life will only bring problem to you, make all things go down in your life, and nothing will be happening in your life. And then you will now be going around trying to find and struggling to find out what to do to make your life go on well. So before you attract anybody, or you want to attract anybody, or you want to attract anything in this life for that matter, you must first find out whether when the thing comes into your life, it's going to help you to progress, or is it going to retrogress your progress. These are the things that are the correct way of doing things. And if you do things that way, you will always win. You will not be a failure. A lot of people don't have that patience. I like this girl, I like this man. And whether the man is going to be your future or is going to destroy your future, they are only thinking of the moment, how they are going to eat, and maybe how they're going to have sex. That's all. They are not thinking of anything until that action had happened, and then the problem sets in, and that's why they start to go around again. Say, hey, this thing is happening, and this is my wife or this is my girlfriend is worrying me. But you asked for it, and they gave you. Why you are running away now? The what they call the putting of veil over a woman's face before marriage. It came from Japanese culture. Putting a veil over a woman before giving it to the husband to be came from Japanese culture somehow. In Japanese language, they call a woman onna, which means woman, onna. And then in Japanese language, they call the devil oni. So you can see oni and onna. Only the I and A are the difference between the names. So indirectly, it is also said that a woman is like a devil to you, generally. So if you want to marry a woman, maybe if you see all her character and her behavior and everything that a woman is, you wouldn't want to get yourself involved. That's why women are always dressing up and changing and creating everything to look nice for you. So when you want to marry, they will cover the woman so that you don't see her face. Whether she's a devil or she's not a devil. You say you want, they ask you, do you want? You say, yes, I want. You are sure you want, they say, yes, I want. Okay, if you want, then come and do these things and take. Then you do all the necessary, whatever they call it. Then you carry the woman. Now you open the veil from the woman. Even if she is bad, she is devil, she is angel, it is you who say you want her, so take it home. So that is where the veiling of a woman comes in, whereby they have to cover the woman's face after you take all the vows finished, before you open the veil. So whatever you have seen there is yours. It's you who asked for it. So in life, we don't know what we want, or we think that we wanted something. I don't know what we are asking. So it is advisable that anything you want to do, whether it is woman, it is business, it's whatever, it is advisable to do a reading, to seek the consultation of the spiritual world, to know behind the scene, or to have a glimpse of the behind the scene activities or whatever may happen in the future, so that when you are taking your steps, you know which direction you are going into. So people who go to spiritualists to bind others for them so that they can be in love or even do whatever they wanted to do, they don't have the patience to ask, is this good for me? Will it be good for me? Will it be good for me in the future? They don't have that question. They are only thinking in the moment. And once that moment has passed, fight begins. And the wife and husband will carry cutlass and pester on each other and start fighting. Meanwhile, they were the ones who were saying, I love you a few minutes ago. So it is advisable that before you do anything, do consultation, and then you will not have that problem. Kwame, thank you.
But
yes.
To that point, to that point, when you talk about them going to the spiritualists, do you ever find that sometimes someone might go to the spiritualists, but the way the spiritualists will do that work is not good work, the way they'll bring them together, and rather the other person, it will cause them harm. and yeah, they will come together, but it will cause the other person harm. Like they're compelling the person, but the way they compel them is not good.
Yes, I understand, because if you are, if they spiritually binded someone for you, okay, and the process that they bind and it is not really working, of course, there is somebody under bondage. So that will affect the person that is binded or bounded by the spiritual act. Definitely, it will not be that very good for that person. So I understood that, Mario. Thank you very much. It is happening, but you know, at our shrine, we are a little bit different from other places. We try before we will do anything, we will ask questions. Thank you very much, Kwame, Mario. Thank you very much.
Can I ask another question? Or?
Go ahead, Kwame.
One more question, and that's in terms of when there's like a full moon outside. Is there any sort of special the significance of a full moon and like spirituality in terms of are you communicating with different spirits during a full moon versus when there's not a full moon or what?
No, you see, when you talk about the phases of moon as in spirituality, that is coming from astrology. No, astrology uses the stars, the planets, and the moon, and their position at any time to forecast and to tell about the future and to talk about events that are supposed to happen or that had happened in the past or currently happening. So, when you in African traditional spirituality, the ones that I have learned so far, there is not so much of the planetary phases or phases of the moon as very important in African spirituality as it is in Asian and Asian spirituality or in European spirituality, because we in Voodoo, we don't use too much of astrology. We depend more on physical things like herbs and other things that we see, metals and all these things that we can put together to bring changes in nature. We are not people who are depending more on the heavenly bodies and other things to be able to do our spirituality. Those of us who had probably gone around the world and studied other philosophies and other teachings may sometime and from time to time add this our knowledge that we acquire from other places to our Voodoo, just to enhance it and add more spice to it to put things together. But in generally, in every traditional spirituality that I have practiced or been trained with, we don't really use too much of the phases of the moon or astrology. Our people may know that, okay, if you want to do this, we'll do it at midnight, and then or do it at early morning before anybody wakes up. But that they are not thinking of planetary influence at that time. They are more or less thinking about the time that the human mind, it will be at sleep and will be calm, the world will be peaceful in order for you to achieve maximum success in your act. That's what it is. It's not more of the planetary engagements.
I see, I see. And one last question, Papa. In terms of Serica, is there any general Sericas you can do? For example, you're doing a business, the business is not doing well. Is there any Sericas that you can do to, enhance that business without doing any sort of oracle or getting any sort of reading? Like some general Sericas you could do just to kind of pick your business back up?
Okay, with Saraka, you see, even the word Saraka is not a particular word of the Ewe Voodoo. It is coming from Islam. think in Hinduism it is called penance. Trying to sacrifice something that can make you comfortable, so to give it to other people so that you can feel uncomfortable in order to gain. That's what it is. But when you want to do any saraka, just by doing it for doing its sake, you may not really get answers. That's why it is very advisable that when you do a reading and the reading point to say, oh, go and give a gift to poor people or give to anybody. Sometimes they will even tell you specific thing to give out to people, or they will even tell you do the saraka by cooking food and inviting children to eat the food, and once the children are happy, happiness will come back into your life, into your business, into your love life and whatever. But it is better doing things when you are well informed about what you are going to do than just doing it for doing sake. That is my advice. Don't just do things for doing sake because somebody has done it and got a gain from it. You may not know where the person get the information from before doing what they are doing. So it is advisable that you do rituals as per the direction of spirit world. But you don't just do ritual just because you feel like, oh, things are not going well, let me do this ritual. When things are not going on well, what you are supposed to do is do a reading to find out what is not going on well, why things are not going on well, what is blocking you, and what is the reason why these things are being blocked. Then you are given a clear direction on what to do. And when you do what to do, you cannot fail because your direction is coming from the spirit world. There is no way you can fail. But just by using your human mind and just doing things, yes, sometimes you may succeed, sometimes you may not succeed. But it is better getting the clear advice from the spirit world through reading and following that, and then you accomplish whatever you want to. And truly, the spirit world cannot give you advice and deceive you if you are going through a proper diviner or a proper priest. There's no way they can give you wrong information. There is no way. What would they gain to give you wrong information? What would the spirit world gain by deceiving you? No. They are not going to gain anything. So when you are able to consult them, they can only tell you the right thing, unless the person who is doing the reading or the teacher or whoever you are consulting is a fake person and does not know whatever they are doing, and they are just using their ordinary imagination to tell stories. Then that's the only way you fail. But if you go through a proper channel, a person who knows what they are doing and they are authentic, there is no way you can ever fail. It may take some time. Maybe you will want the results very quickly now, but it may not come the day you want it. But once the rituals are done, definitely answers will come, and they'll come in a positive way. Thank you very much, Kwame.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. My regards to everybody. Is it? Okay, let's go to Benny Muswani. Hello, Benny. I think Benny has written something. Says, "A good day, Bokor. I cannot thank you enough for this platform. Is palm reading useful in Vodou practice? How reliable is it? Does it have limitations as a source of divination?" Okay, so Benny Muswani, thank you very much for joining this. What do you call it? Palm reading. It's also an act of divination, but it is more strongly in from the Asia line, and then maybe from European, but I strongly believe that it came from Asia. I have done palmistry before. I studied palmistry, and in my early days, I used to look into people's palms and tell them their stories or things about them. But palmistry does not have anything to do with our African traditional spirituality whatsoever. However, there are some priests who are so developed that they have extrasensory perceptive ability, what we call ESP, or what people call the third eye, or I would say clairvoyance and clairaudience. So such people may hold your hand and look into your hand and tell you a story about your life, but they are not actually reading the lines in your palm. And if you are not very clever, you would think that they are doing palmistry. No, they can use anything. They can even look onto a leaf and be able to tell you a history. They can even pick your telephone from you, a phone that you yourself you have. Take the phone and start looking into the phone and start telling you about your life. It is not the phone that is telling them anything. They are just using it as a platform to communicate. So when an African traditional priest or voodoo priest or Ifa or Afa, Bokor or priest or whatever Mami Wata see or Hunsi or Mami voodoo see or whatever may look into your hand and tell you about your life, they may not actually be doing palmistry as in the word palmistry. Because palmistry by itself needs to be done with the palm, where we have your lifeline, we have your head line and your heart lines. And then, of course, there are so many other small lines that they join to the other lines, whether you are going to live long or you live short, all is in your palm. And it is only those people who can read or study it as a subject knows that when your heart line is very deep, means you are a person who loves so much, and sometimes people take advantage of your kindness and you later feel pain for them taking advantage of your goodness. But that's how you are born. That's what is in your destiny. That's why your heart line may be very, very deep. And then we have your headline here, people in the middle, which also will tell you how clever you are and all these things. And then we have the what do you call it? The lifeline, which is the big one here, going to tell you about your life and everything. And then, of course, the fingers will tell people with spatula fingers. Some people have conic fingers. All these people will tell you whether you are a practical person or you are just an idealist, someone who is just a dreamer. So, in our traditional, our African traditional spirituality, we don't really use palmistry, but people can look into your palm and tell you about life. We can even pour water on the ground, and then that water we can divine. And that's the same way the mirror, you can get a mirror with the voodoo set. You look into the mirror, you can divine. Even you can look into a cup of drink, they fetch it for you, you can divine. These are signs of person who has got a third eye or the extrasensory perception. That's what it is. They can use anything to divine. But there are people who are palmist and they study it very well, and they can tell all the small lines that come into your palm, that these small lines that are showing that you are a person who is worried. And then it will also show on which of the major lines in your hand that they have those small lines on, and they can tell you this thing. And then, of course, they have the mounts on your this thing, whether it's Saturn, Jupiter, and all this, and the one that is prominent, they can tell. But this is a study. People need to study. If you study it, you will know. But then don't expect that you just go in today and you know it all. It takes time, but it is good to know. I have left palmistry almost about 30 years back. I've not been doing palmistry at all. I don't have, so I may not know everything now but I still have some few things in my head. So that is what it is. So Benny, thank you very much for that question.
Thank you so much, Papa.
You're welcome, Benny.
My microphone is still bad.
You say?
I'll try to get it. I'm saying my microphone is bad.
Oh, no problem. We'll just manage whatever you have. You know, there's a saying in my language that the stick that you have in your hand is what you use when you are confronted with a snake. So, whatever you have, if you are having any stick in your hand, whether it's a big stick or small stick, when you are confronted with snake, that's what you use. You will not say, okay, let me leave this and go and find another one and come and kill the snake. What about if the snake bites you? So at least you can be using the one you have. If it is not really good, but at least you can use it to frighten the snake to not to be able to bite you, because the snake also will be afraid that you want to beat it. So the stick you have in your hand is what you will use. Thank you, Benny Moswani. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yes, so we have is Coco still there? Does she want to ask a question? If not, then let's go straight to Clubhouse and see if anybody has any question there for us. Clubhouse, is anybody?
I'm just listening and learning. I appreciate this.
Oh, Coco, thank you very much. Thank you. And in the Clubhouse, is anybody have any question to ask? Is Senna actually joining, or is Lamin who has Senna's? Okay, we don't have too many people on the Clubhouse today.
Greetings, Papa.
Greetings, Shamba.
Yes,
How are you?
I'm good, Papa. How are you?
I'm also fine. Your work has been done, so I think tomorrow, Monday, I'm going to send it as early as possible so I can get to you. Okay?
Okay, no problem, Papa. I want to ask, how can the dwarves help you to become a better Afa divine?
Dwarfs?
Yes.
You see, it's not like dwarfs can help you to become a better Afa or a voodoo priest. The dwarfs are also entities in nature. They are beings in nature. But the good thing about them is that they are not physical beings. But they can choose to become physical if they want, and they can choose to become invisible when they want. So, but then whether the dwarf is physical, it appears to you physically, or does not appear to you physically, when you are connected to the dwarf is going to be a partner like any other voodoo that you may have. And the dwarf is going to tell you things like you get to a place and then the dwarf will tell you, oh, this herb is a good herb. Or you go and pick a herb without even thinking, or maybe the herb attracts you and you go towards that herb just to have a good look at it. And then the dwarf entity that you have can tell you, oh, this herb is called like this. It can be used for this, it can be used for that, it can be used for that. So it is not like the dwarf is going to help you to become a better Afa priest or no more. Dwarfs are more into herbs, into nature, than into Afa and other things. So, and of course, not only into spirituality, dwarfs have the knowledge and ability to be able to tell you anything if you work with them very well. But they are they easily get angry because they are more human than other spirits. They easily get angry if you offend them or you don't follow their rules and regulations. So to work with them, you need to understand them and also let them understand what you are and who you are. They are not expecting you to be like them, and you too are not expecting them to be like you. But it's going to your relationship is going to be on a partnership basis. that whatever you want from the spirit world, they will be able to give you idea. And then whatever you do on the physical plane, you ask them to put their hands into it to make it successful. So that's what the dwarfs are. It's not like to make you a better Bokor or better priest. But in general, they'll give you informations that you will need, and those informations can be very useful for your future and for the work you do.
Okay, thank you, Papa. I want to ask too, Papa, this time when I come, can I get my hat with the talismans on?
Yes, because you have your batakari, so we will ask one of my cousins, who is from the north. He's even in the shrine now. He saw some very beautiful batakaris, and he's selling them. Some are well sold with what do you call it? With talismans and very powerful talismans. So when you come, we'll ask him to sew one for you. But he has to measure your head. Well, you know, you are having a rasta head, so your head is big. So it is not easy for our normal caps to go onto your head. But then if it is your hair is shaved and you have a normal head, then any of the normal caps can fit. So otherwise, I would have said that he should start sewing it before you even come. Me personally now, I've been told not to sew any talisman, or am not supposed to use needle. It is in my afak bowling that I shouldn't sew anything with needle. So I have stopped doing that. So I can't sew talismans directly anymore. I can prepare them, but I have to ask someone to sew them. So when you come, we'll find a way to which that way, whether your head is with rasta or your head is shaved, they'll measure your head and we'll sew talismans for your batakari for you.
Yes, Papa. I was thinking too. This year, I was gonna. It's getting time for me to cut my hair, so I don't.
Okay.
I don't have a problem.
When you come, we'll pray and then we will do a rituals and cut it down for you.
Yes, that's how I want to do it.
Okay, no problem. I am here.
Thank you, Papa.
You're welcome. Okay, anybody else on if Clubhouse wanted to ask me any question?
Mr. Bokor, good morning. This is Zeal from Los Angeles.
Hello, Zeal from Los Angeles. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm awake now. It took me about an hour of listening to get awake, but I'm awake.
Okay.
Huh?
Yes, go ahead.
What did you say?
No, I didn't say anything. I'm waiting for your question.
Okay. I wanted to ask you about Taoism. Just because you're so knowledgeable about so many things, I just wondered if you know anything about it. And, you know, every time I try to go read things about it, I can't figure out what it's saying, what it really means. And I just wondered if it relates at all to Vodou in any way.
Okay, you are talking about Darwin's theory of evolution?
No. Taoism.
Tao. You mean the Chinese Taoism?
Yes, from China.
Okay, and I don't remember so much about it. I learned some little bit about Confucianism and Taoism, but I'm not sure if I have anything in my head immediately to say. But then I will go back into my notes and see if I still have, because it was a very, very long time I learned those kind of Chinese things, and I have left so many of this, even the I Ching or I Ching, all those that I have done in the past. I've forgotten almost all of them because my concentration was more on Hinduism and later into Vodou. So I have forgotten many things. But I think I have something very little, but I don't remember. I can't tell. So I don't want to talk about what I cannot really defend. So Let's leave that to that
Perfect.
for now, but then I will find going back to my note and see. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you too. Thank you. Yes, Bokor Said wanted to ask who? Daniel Simpson wanted to ask question. Okay, Daniel, go ahead, please.
Yeah, this is Danielle from Mississippi. I have a question about every words. When I look at pictures and videos of you wearing your traditional vest, it has pockets with objects in there, I assume. What is the word for that in Eve?
Sebe. We call it talisman in English.
How do you spell that?
It is called talisman in English, but the Aves call it sebe. 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 Sebe.
Sebe.
Sebe.
Okay.
That's the word.
And that goes for
that is the word for talisman in Ewe. So the Batakari or the verse I'm wearing is called Batakari or Jogbe Wu. Jogbe Wu means the dress of the Northerners. The Aves call it the dressing of the Northerners or the clothing of the Northerners. Jogbe Wu with Sebe. So the Sebe is the talismans that are in, and the clothing is called Jogbe Wu.
Okay, thank you so much, Papa.
You're welcome.
The reason I asked was because where I live at, we have something called Louisiana voodoo. Louisiana voodoo is it's a mixture, and it's called voodoo, but it has stuff from the Mande people. It has Congo stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It has, of course, Evan Fall stuff, but when they say, oh, this is a voodoo thing, kind of want to know what the real name, because those same talisman, we call that gris-gris or zanzan in Creole.
Okay.
But now I know the real voodoo term, so thank you very much, Papa.
You're welcome. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you very much, too. Okay, I think we don't have people on YouTube today. We have, okay, we have Mike Thomas here. Hello, Papa. How do you and others take precautions around quicksilver? Isn't it harmful when exposed? Quicksilver, which is the same thing called mercury, I don't think it is something that is harmful when exposed to, just as in its real form. I think quicksilver or mercury, when it is being used like in heating, when they heat it, that is when the dangerous chemicals evaporate from it and becomes harmful. But the quicksilver by itself is just a metal or liquid metal that is rolling. It's just a liquid metal, and it can be kept in a container, covered, and all this thing. And nobody is putting it into their mouths or whatever, whereby you will get any poison or this thing. But quick metal or quicksilver, as it is called, or mercury, as it is called, when it is being heated with fire or put on heat, and it is evaporating, that is when it becomes very dangerous, or you will be exposed to the dangers. Because if you say that it is dangerous, what about the people who are making them? Are they also not exposed to it? Yeah, sure. Maybe they are protecting themselves with some other things. But with us we don't use it. We don't just use it. It's always in container, and when it needs to be poured into a voodoo, they just pour it, and then other herbs added, and then cover it. So that's what it is. So it is not as dangerous as it may look. And then Mike Thomas again said, Papa, in India they have recipes to turn quicksilver into a solid for spiritual purpose. Does voodoo also have similar methods? No, we don't create anything quicksilver. Even in India, as they are saying that they have a method to turn quicksilver into solid. Have you seen it before, or it is a story that you have heard? See, what I know in alchemy is they say they can change quicksilver and other things into gold. But this is science, it's scientific usage. But I don't think so that it is direct, and that's why people who are doing surface mining always need quicksilver or need a mercury, where they use the mercury to extract the gold metal from the dust. And that is when they burn it. So the mercury or the quicksilver mixing up with the gold will be able to attract the gold out of the sand or from the dust. But I don't think they can convert the quicksilver itself into any solid metal. People do not understand many things, and a lot of people say things that they have not seen. There are so many stories about spirituality that is just fairy tales, but we all just accepted it and then put it on ourselves as if we have seen them before. In voodoo, we are not changing anything into anything. We are just dealing with nature and how we can live in harmony with it. Thank you very much. Okay, so if anybody on Clubhouse wanted to ask questions, please do. But now we have exhausted all the questions from Facebook, Zoom, Clubhouse, and YouTube. So please send in your questions and let's see how we can help answer your questions. Somebody give me the air conditioner controller.
Greetings, Papa.
Greetings, Baba Wakiri. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. So I don't know if I've asked you this before, but I'm not sure. So since I'm not sure, I'm going to ask you.
Go ahead.
The great plant marijuana, herb. It is known to be a sacred plant in many parts of the world. We know it here in America as one of the greatest pastimes of all time. We know it to be a healer now as the world is raving and craving about its medicinal properties.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to the aspect of what is this plant, it is a herb, just like anything else. It does grow naturally and wild, though they have curated it to just grow, in plants or in your backyard or whatever. But it still does grow wild. What, if anything, do you know is the spiritual properties of marijuana? Or what has it been used for in ancient times? Thank you.
Okay, I don't know what my people had used it in ancient times, but what I know about marijuana is that it's a herb that's a very powerful herb on its own, and if it can make people, human beings, get crazy, then that means it can also activate spirits to do more than they would have done or they could have done. So what we do sometimes is that there are certain voodoos that when you want to set them up, the marijuana herb as a herb with all other herbs will also be put into it in order to kind of activate and like a catalyst so that it can speed up the work of the voodoo when the voodoo is set up. Because even if human beings smoke it or smell it or eat it or drink it, their mental attitudes change and they begin to act more actively in certain ways than when they have not taken it. So voodoos as human as well as human beings, sometimes certain voodoos also wanted the marijuana to be added or is part of the voodoo in order to activate the voodoo. Of course, all other herbs can also do that, but the other herbs are not herbs that people can easily smoke. So the marijuana become one of the easiest one that people will smoke, and at the same time, those who are doing voodoo work sometimes put it into voodoo. And if the voodoo worker also is a smoker, that is his problem. But generally, we just put it inside the voodoo to uh, just like any other herb. But its part in the voodoo is to activate, to make the voodoo become more active than normal. That's what I know about it. But not all voodoos that use it. It's only certain voodoos that I know that they had put them in it when they are forming the voodoo.
Can thank you first of all, Papa, for being open and honest. Second of all, can you share maybe one of those voodoos who actually enjoys marijuana?
Oh, there are so many voodoos that have that one. Even Akanyi, which is my voodoo, sometimes when we are adding herbs, if he asks that we should add that one, when we are doing a consultation, we do add to it and put it into the system. Because for us, herbs are herbs. We are not trading in it as a business. We are not smoking it as anything. It's just like a herb that you will pick from the bush like any other herb if there is, and we add to it when it is necessary.
Would you I had a person ask me this because they asked the elder. They asked the elder, does SU or Legba like marijuana? If the elder, and excuse my French or whatever they like to call it, the elder told this person, fuck around and find out. Now, I think it was wrong for the elder to say that and approach it, but I think the elder really didn't have an answer for him. That's why they gave it to him in that way. But I'm asking you, when it comes to marijuana being what you have said, an activator, an enhancer, not all voodoos or spirits take it.
Right.
But a lot do. Does a Papa Legba enjoy marijuana? Or SU enjoy marijuana? What has been your take on this and your experience? Thank you.
I don't know very much because you see, as far as voodoo and Legba and other things are like children of Afa. And if Afa doesn't really like smoke, that's what my Bokor, the person who initiated me, that Afa doesn't like smoke. So and in Afa, of course, you don't use any herb apart from the ikins that are used. But all these other spirits, Apeli, Sengaji, Aflagati, Legba, and all other spirits are kind of under Afa. But they may use herbs to create them. But Afa itself, you don't use any herb to create it. So if Legba, I don't know whether Legba takes marijuana. It may take, it may not. But in in my Legba, we don't have marijuana because the time they were making my Legba for me, the priest or the Bokono, that was my Bokor, did not ask for that. But with study, if we continue studying and asking, there may be a place they will tell you, oh yes, they have added it to their own legba. And then you can see, you look at the difference between the way your legba works and the way another person's legba works. If the person's legba has a marijuana in it and the legba is very active and working very fast, then you can also choose to put it into your own to see if it will activate yours. Sometimes there are certain herbs that are not in a particular voodoo, especially like marijuana. But if the voodoo becomes sluggish and is not working, and through a reading, and it suggests that you should add marijuana leaves or a herb to the voodoo in order to activate it, then of course you will have to do. And when you do, and there's a changes, and you see that your voodoo become active, then you know that the marijuana actually works with the other herbs in the voodoo to activate it, whether it is legba or any other voodoo. But in my legba, there is no marijuana leaves in it. So I don't know whether when people are creating legba, they can put marijuana leaves into it or not. That I don't know.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you, Baba Wakiri. Thank you very much. Yes, Coco, yes, go ahead, please.
Just to about the marijuana because I hadn't never smoked marijuana until I was 33 years old. And when I started smoking it, it was for health reasons, but it also like catapulted my spiritual journey in a more deeper way.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that.
Well, that's good. You see, we are all not equal. There are certain people who maybe when they smoke marijuana, they will put their mind into the gear number 7, where the speed in their life will become too much. Maybe they were walking like a tortoise, but after smoking marijuana, they are running like a bullet train. So we are all not equal. Some people, it is good for their system, and for others, it is not good for them. I have not, I've never smoked marijuana as in smoking. Of course, I use marijuana sometimes in as a herb into my voodoo if the voodoo asks for it. But I have not smoked marijuana in my life, and but I'm still very active spiritually, and I can see, I can hear, I can be here and be somewhere else without any what do you call it, mind enhancing. No, Said, how would you say it?
Well,
Hallucinating, any hallucinating herbs, psychedelic and hallucinating herbs. I don't think I need that to be able to do what I am doing and doing it very well. But then there are certain people, maybe if they take it, it helps them, or maybe it helps their mind. So we are all not equal. We are not all equal. So whatever you find that is good for you and it helps your progress in life and on your spiritual journey, that's fine. But not because of that somebody is good for one person, it may not be good for everybody. So some people may take it and they will start to misbehave. Some people will take it and sit down. Bob Marley smoked marijuana all his life, or I cannot tell, but the part of his life we saw, we met. He is smoking marijuana, but he was always talking sense. But then some people in my village, they thought that Bob Marley smoked marijuana, so they too they are smoking, and then they have become so lazy and sit down looking into the sky and nothing is happening. And they just remain there like a donkey that does not know where to pass and go home. So everybody has their visits. So if it is good for you, fine. I'm not against. I don't say don't do it, but I don't need it. Maybe God knows that I don't need those things. That's why. So thank you very much, Coco, for that answer. And I think your hands are up again.
Yes, I wanted to ask you if you knew the effects of burning it opposed to taking it in other ways.
Pranic healing.
Because they say when you burn it with, yes.
Oh, you mean with the marijuana leaves?
Yes.
Oh, if you are doing pranic healing,
like is it
Coco, if you are doing pranic healing, where you are doing pranayama, the base of what is called prana, which is energy or breathing energy in. So pranic healing is to be able to heal with pranayama. That's the real word in Sanskrit, pranayama. And then pranic healing and other prana related words came out of. In pranayama, you are doing is a breathing exercise which has got a spiritual benefit. And in pranayama, usually you are given a mantra which you repeat one part of the mantra while inhaling, and then the other part of the mantra while exhaling. And this is what the pranayama is all about. The reason being, when you are doing so, it is believed that the words that you are repeating or the sound that you are repeating is going to have some effect on your mind, and also once it affects your mind, it will affect your body and brings you calmness and peace. So if in pranic healing, you have to light marijuana down and then inhale it. It's just like you put it on your mouth and you are smoking it. I don't see any difference in that. It's just whether you are using it to repeat some mantra or not. So long as you are trying to inhale in the smoke to affect your mind, then it is a psychedelic thing. It is not a pure spiritual, in my sense, in my understanding, because why do you have to induce the mind before experiencing spirituality? If the spirituality is real, you don't need to induce your mind. If you are doing it for fun and then there's for recreation, that's a different thing. But if you are doing it for serious spirituality, then you are actually putting something into the mind to affect the brain waves so that you can begin to feel good or feel bad. Or anything that will affect your brain waves, which go ahead.
Yeah, because originally I was using it for gastrointestinal problems. So, but then I stopped using it once that issue was clear. But then I went back to it, but I started using it for meditation, opposed to just,
but when
just for recreational use.
Okay, yeah, if it's accepted and you are using it for recreational use, yeah, that means all that we are trying to do in our lives is to kind of balance our mental waves with our physical waves so that we can live in peaceful body. Our body can be healed and be in peace. If it is good for you and it gives you peace and relaxation, then that's okay. But it should not be like the base of the spirituality that you are practicing. It is just an enhancing herb. It is not that which is giving you the spirituality. Maybe the spirits are there, but you cannot connect with them because you don't know the way to connect with them until you begin to bring your mental waves having effect from the leaves or the smoke before you can connect. Everybody, we are all not the same. But what I teach here is I want to teach a spirituality that is totally free from anything of psychedelic or hallucination or whatever, and that people can enjoy pure spirituality and still have communication with spirits without using any psychedelic drugs whatsoever. It should be pure. If spirit is here real, you don't need to even drink alcohol in order to experience them.
Hello, Papa.
Hello.
Me again on another question.
Okay, Daniel Simpson, go ahead, please.
So another Eve language question.
Yes, go ahead.
The elemental principles, as you've discussed in past videos, I think you said that they're the element and principles of fire, water, earth, thunder, maybe. Could you give me the names in Eve, what those principles are?
Okay, I think the F in every word is called Anigba. Anigba, that is the F. And the spirits that are connected to F are many, but the most principal one is the Anigba To. I think you are writing it down, Daniel.
Yes, I am. I'm writing it down.
Okay, so Anigbato is the spirit that the Aves call for Anigba. Anigba is the F. So the element of F is Anigba. And the spirit Anigbato, which the Yoruba call Babalu Aye, spirit of the earth is Anigbato, means owner of the earth. People call it Sakpata. Sakpata. The Yorubas call it Babalu Aye. That's the spirit of the earth, or as F, as an element. And then we have the spirit of the water. The spirit water is called Echi. Echi or Chi, depending on the Ewe dialect that you are speaking. And the element of water, the spirit element of water, is usually the Tokosu. 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 It is the same one people call Mamiwata. The Mami is I, it's M-A-M-I. It's not double A. It's one word, yes. Mamiwata. Yeah. So that's the element of water, Tokosu or Mamiwata. That's people call. And then I think we have the fire. And the fire is a Jo. Jo, D-Z-O. Jo or Ejo, right? D-Z-O, Ejo. Or Jo. And some people will call it so, zo, zo. Okay, that's why some you hear in Togo, even because somebody calls Zogbechi, Zogbe. It's Jogbe, Jogbe. They say Zogbe. But so here in this fire, the element or spirit element in this fire will be the thunder. Or a so. Okay, spirit of thunder, which is so. And thunder element is the fire is the spirit of thunder called so. Some people call it Hebias. And it is called Shango in Yoruba. Okay, so we are talking about three elements here: earth, water, and fire. Then we come to the air, which we call Ya. Ya. Ya means air in Ewe. Some places they will say Eya. So this Eya spirits will be something like the Eya spirit will be, the element will be what the people call Yali. Yali. And I'm not sure, but I think it may be the same spirit people are called Oya. I'm not very sure, but I think so. It's Oya. And you can see that one in whirlwind, the spirit of the whirlwind or the tornado and all hurricanes and all these wind spirits.
Okay.
So we this is 4, right? Okay. So I think the other one is the where the sound waves travel, which is the ether. But I don't know the name of that ether or ethereal factor in Ewe. There must be a name for it. But the two is indirectly linked with the air because it will be interchanged with the air because spirits, in our language, they say spirits travel through the air. But then in reality, if we go into science, it is more of ether where the sound of energies and everything travels through. So that ether, I don't know the name in Ewe. I don't know how to call it, but I will check with some elders before. I know these things, but I don't know everything in their Ewe context as I should. So the ether is where the sound waves travel through. But what is the name of ether in Ewe? I cannot get it immediately. So let's keep it to these 4, and then when maybe I'll ask someone senior to me to tell me what that will be, and then I can share that with you, Daniel.
Okay, thank you so very much.
You are welcome.
That was very, very helpful.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we have Kingsley Otu on YouTube say, please can I seek for a spiritual reading in my absence? Yes, Kingsley, we do reading across the oceans without necessarily having the people in front of us. There's a process we go through. We will let you, when you send us our reading money, we will let you speak on the money when it gets to us through the phone on WhatsApp. And you make your own audio impressions, the things that is giving you confusion, things that you want to know, things that you cannot understand and you want to find out, the unknown, things that are hidden from you. When you speak it on the money, we will now give the money to the oracle. And then the oracle will come back and tell us what they have seen about what you said. And then we'll break it down to you and tell you what is happening and also give you advice on what to do to overcome them. So yes, we do readings in absentia without you. Even the rituals we do most when people are not here, we do everything. Even whether you are here or you are not here, we can do it and it will work. Okay, is anybody on Clubhouse that wanted to say anything? Yes, no? We'll go to Facebook and let's see if there's anything there. Maybe today we'll be closing early because yesterday we worked until early hours of today, and I am a little bit really exhausted, but I still have some work to do today, so I will pray that I can finish quickly and go and take a little bit rest before my new people come in. Yeah.
I have a question, but I have to just leave the house in about 5 minutes. Can you wait for me? Please,
Yes,
Papa?
sure, we'll wait for you. We'll wait for you.
Thank you. Just give me 2 to 3 minutes. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Give me my phone so I can call and check if someone can tell me this. I think now. long means to like, and it also still means to love. So sometimes you don't know which one you are telling. The person who is you are telling maybe don't understand what you are saying. So it's very crazy. Unlike in Japanese, when they have a very very distinct between love and like, and in English, I think they have the difference between like and love. We in our language, it is just one word. Whether you are liking the
Well,
person.
I'm sure you have other words, right, that you can use to make it. If you add some more words, then it'll mean the same thing, right?
Yeah, if you add other words to it, so in a sentence form, then people can tell which one of the love or like you are saying. But then as a single word like love, like, it's the same word. But then when you use it in a sentence, then probably it becomes clear which one you are talking about.
So if you're talking to a lover and then they don't want you to tell them that you love them, you can just say like, and then it's easy.
Yes, in English, but in our language, you can't say that if you're talking to your lover and you say, I like you, but then you have to talk plenty in order to prove that it is just like and it is not love. But in English, it is it's in English and other languages, if you say I like you, the person understood what you mean. And then when you say I love you too, the person also will understand. But for us, love is love. Whether it is like or it is love or is love.
Yeah. I can see that. I can get with that. Thanks.
Yeah. Madam Georgina, sorry, I am working now. You can come. I am here, but I am in section now. Lamini, and you take this. There's this lady who came here. She's trying to call. I don't know whether she wanted to come here to the shrine. So that is what it is. So, so the word for air and ether is very, very difficult to separate because we have it is in the air. Everything is in the air. That's all. That's why I'm trying to find it difficult, but I'll find out later from some elders and see if they have that distinction between air and ether, where the sound waves travel to.
Mr. Bokor, I have another question for you.
Yes, go ahead.
I don't remember if I asked this question before, but my question is it possible to just learn to use the herbs to help heal people without, if you do that, but you are not initiated, is it still considered practicing Vodou?
Okay, Vodou is, we in AV, we say that herbs are God. Herbs are God. Herbs are God. That's what we say in Vodou. And what is Vodou? Vodou is a combination of all these herbs put together, and then those combination attracts an energy or an entity, spirit entity that you are trying to attract. So if you are practicing herbalism, if you don't want to call it that you are practicing anything to do with voodoo, but that's up to you. But some of the herbs, apart from their medicinal values, They have spiritual values too. But for you to be able to get that spiritual value and add it to the physical medicinal value to make it work for you, you need to be initiated into the herb so that that herb can work for you physically and also spiritually. There is a herb
Interesting.
there is a herb that I have prepared, or there are certain herbs that I have put together and prepared. And not too long ago, my grandson, my daughter's son, was suffering from convulsion. They spent all the night at the hospital. She wasn't my daughter wasn't resting, and she was so scared that the son may die. So when she called me up and told me, Papa, we are at the hospital, and this is what my son is going through. I said, okay, let's see when day break, let's see what we can do. So I brought, when the day broke, the doctors came and discharged them, but this thing was not away. The convulsion was still on the boy. They were trying, but they gave all the medicine that they would give, but nothing was happening. So when they came in here to the shrine, I told them, okay, I have some black powder that I prepared for a long time. So I went to bring it out. I tasted it myself, and I asked my daughter and the husband to taste also. So they tasted it. And I asked my daughter to put her middle finger into the black powder that she tasted in her palm and touch the tongue of the son. She did, just by putting her middle finger into the black powder in her palm, touched the tongue of the little boy who was so weak in the stroller. Within minutes, it's not even up to 5 minutes, the boy just got up and wanted to come out of the stroller. And that's it. Then that's the end of his sickness. The whole thing stopped. He became active until we are talking. And this has happened almost a month ago. Nothing else again. So herbs are not just plants that we look at. They have spiritual entities behind them. And that's why initiation into them, if you want to be a good herbal worker in Vodou or in our tradition, if you want to use our tradition to get herbs working for you, then you need to get introduced to the herbs. And that introduction is what is called initiation. So
you don't have
people can practice herbal practices without being introduced to the herbs, but definitely they might have got the idea and the knowledge from somewhere, and the person whom they learned from probably did not tell them the whole story.
Okay. Do you have words for people who are not initiated into voodoo, like a word for them or a title for people who use the herbs, but they're not spiritual workers?
Oh, yeah, they can just call them Egbedala. Egbedala.
What's the term?
Egbedala. Egbedala. Egbe means herb also. It's another word for, every word for herb. Egbe. This is EGBE or GBE. Gbe. Gbe is herb. So whoever goes to pluck herbs or leaves to heal people is called Egbedala. Egbedala. Or that is the word for a healer in Ewe. If they want to use the word as a healer, you are Egbedala, somebody who uses herbs to cure other people.
Okay.
So whether the person is initiated or is not initiated, he uses herbs to cure other people or heal other people. So he's Egbe Dala.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Can I speak to you now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so there's somebody sitting right near my tree and he's playing his saxophone, so sorry about the love. No, not sorry actually, it's a beautiful sound. So
Who is singing? Who is playing the?
someone is playing the saxophone here in the park. I'm in the park next to my house, and he's sitting near my favorite chair, but I can forgive him because the music is sweet.
Okay, so please go ahead.
Temporarily. Oh, okay. I can talk now. Okay, so mine is. I don't even know how to ask this. If it's a question, but it is. It's a query. Okay, so I was going to try and make it as brief as possible. I have a son who has complex health, and it's life-threatening. And he moved out of my house 6 weeks ago. It was a real journey. He's 22, just gone. And it was a real journey and a pleasure to love him and raise him. To let him go, obviously, was a bit more difficult, but I made the decision some years ago, and I was having the dreams to show me to, time to let him go, time to let him go. So I've let him go. And now I'm in a position where I find myself in a very familiar position with the local authorities. They really do not like the name Yewande or Kindly or United. They don't. Whenever they see my name, they seem to shake. They took me to court to try to get my son off of me several years ago, and I spent 2 years in the courts, and my son was in the system because they took him away from me, and I won hands down, and I won him back. So since then, they are very, very wary of me and fearful, it seems. So now we're in this new environment. I'm experiencing, because the new service providers who own the block of flats where my son is living now, just behind me, they've heard about my reputation. So it's almost as if they're trying to instigate problems for me from the beginning. There's all kinds of stories of people like myself who have children, who are adults and who now live in supported living, how they try to get your money off you, they try to make trouble for you so you don't get to see your child again, and they can take all the money because I'm his guardian, I'm his financial advisor, everything. So they've now definitely started on me, and I have found out some information about them that is not too favorable for them. And I don't know how to put it, but I don't know. I remember that my grandaunt, my grandmother in Nigeria, always were telling me about how you can use natural resources to support and defend yourself. And I have to defend my child, and I have to defend myself. What would you say to me?
Okay.
What advice could you give me?
Kindly, your story is very interesting and very disturbing. How come are they trying to take your child away from you? Are they saying that you could not look after him very well?
What happened? This was back in 2011. My son, I was getting. You go to the government, you have a child, you say, I need help. I'm by myself, I'm looking after this child by myself, and I need your help.
Okay.
So they gave me help. They gave me first an amount of hours a week that they would come and give me, the carers would come in and support me. Then they gave me more. And it got to 22 and a half hours, and they were like, who do you think you are? So then they started to make a problem for me. And then an incident happened where they took my child away, claiming that I couldn't look after him very well. Okay. But the independent social worker had said that yes, she can, she just needs support. So long story short, I won the court case in 2014. I got my son home, and the judge was disgusted and said, you should be taking every measure you can to support this mother, and you should never remove this child from her home. Mm-hmm. This child needs to be with his mother, and you support him. Mm. So from that time, my name is like a dirty word in the local authority that I live in. Everybody knows me for being a fighter, for fighting for my child's needs. Everybody with anybody knows me. Mm. So now, what I'm saying, fast forwarding again, my son has now left my care and is living just behind me. And it's almost as if the people who own the supported living facility are
just starting to persecute me with really silly little things, as if they're trying to build a case up against me. I've spoken to many other carers like myself who have had, been threatened, etc., etc. Now they know that I will take them to court if I have to. But I guess I'm trying to ask is, how can I protect myself more than I have? And as I said, my grandmother and my granddad, who are no longer alive, I'm the elder now, but they were always giving me tips of what to do if this happens, how to use your hearing if that happens, etc., etc. But there's a part of me that feels kind of guilty to defend myself, which is really ludicrous because I have to defend myself now, and I have to defend my child. I feel very strongly that they will not hurt my child, and I got that psychically from a dream or whatever you call it. I'm a dreamer. So I got that my son is safe, but it's like I am not, because they're trying to prevent me from seeing my child, prevent me from being in control of his finances, prevent me. They're almost as if they're envious of the love and the care that I have for my son, that I pay for his private medication instead of going to a doctor who gives you medicine that is rubbish, that I use herbs, etc., etc. So it's almost, they want to persecute me for being a good mother. And the thing is, this child, before he was ever born, I dreamt I was given his name. I was given the name that I should give him. I was given every information about him. He already is life-threateningly ill, but in the beginning, for the first 5 years of his life, it was really hell. He was in hospital so much that they knew his name. Whenever I called, the ambulance would be at my door. And so, I was even told and instructed when I was pregnant, I must keep this child. This child must remain with me. I must keep him. I must not do an abortion, etc., etc. And I have always obeyed. Whenever I get anything in my dreams or from spirit, I always obey. Now I'm in a place where I'm so angry that this is happening again, and that I need to protect myself and my son. But I just am trying to be as calm as I can, but I'm so angry.
Okay, Kaide, thank you very much. I think your grandmother was was right by telling you that there are some natural ways that problems can be solved. It's not always through the court, and it's not always through fighting with another person that solve problems. And how old is your son as at the moment?
My son was born in 2000, so he's 22. But mentally, my son is 6 to 18 months. He functions as an infant. So he needs help with feeding. He still wears pads for he's doubling on. He's not verbal. He speaks like a baby of 6 to 18 months. He's very strong in spirit, but he is very, very vulnerable in every other way. So, yeah.
Is he suffering from cerebral palsy?
No, he was born with Down syndrome.
Down
He's
syndrome.
also autistic. He is epileptic. He is registered as legally blind. He is deaf. He is non-verbal, and he's an amazing soldier. He really is an amazing young man.
Okay. So what I will advise you is you should find a very good babalao or any good diviner, somebody who can do reading for you to find a way. I think that's what your grandmother was trying to say by that it's not always you have to go through things by going to court or maybe police or whatever. There are natural ways. If a good diviner is able to divine for you whatever you are going through, and people who are against you now, they probably tell you what to do to overcome all these the challenges that you are facing. And if you follow the instructions, you definitely will get your son back to your grips or to your hands. Yeah. That's the advice I can give.
Okay, I'm going to contact Senna because I have to find a way to pay by bit by bit. So I'm going to contact you, Senna, and we can talk about how I can get that money to you and get a reading. Thank you very much.
You're welcome kindly. Thank you very much. What do you call it? Put a bedala as well as a bedala because it depends on the every dialect. So it's a bedala. Separate it, be and dala. Bedala as a healer. A healer, a person who uses herbs to help. Yeah. Okay, so anybody on Clubhouse that wanted to say anything anymore? Okay, Daniel is putting his hand up on Zoom. Yeah, Mr. Katuch, I am here at the shrine. Okay. Sorry, everybody, I have to take this call. It's very important, so that's why. Thank you. Yes, let's get Daniel Simpson. He wants to say something.
Yeah, I have some language questions again.
Go ahead.
So, some Ewe words. So, what are the Ewe words for an altar that you use, for ancestors or spirit? And what is the Ewe word for libation?
Okay, the every word for libation is chifodi, chifodi. That is the general every word. Chifodi. Chi means water. Chifodi. Put P-O, yeah. Because the alphabet is not in English. Yeah. D-I, yeah. Chifodi. That is libation, pouring of libation, the every word for a libation, chipodi. If I break it down, is chi is water, chi or a chi is water, and fo is to pour. Fo is to pour. D means down, so chipodi is to pour water down. To pour water down. So the word for every word for libation is chipodi. The other one you say altar. We don't have the name as altar in every word, but we have we can you can just call it Bogbo Nofe, Bogbo, Bogbo. Nofe, no. It's not no, no. Norpe, put P-A. Nope, yeah. Bogbo, Nope, or the place where spirits stay. That's the way our people will call it. It's not one single word like altar. However, where we do sacrifices is called, however, where a sacrifice is performed or rituals are performed, where rituals are performed, we call Vosa. Mekpli, Mekpli. Vosa Mekpli, where you do sacrifices. Those are the words that this is. So it is no one straight word for it, what do you call it? Sacrifice or altar. We don't have one word like altar, just bobo nofe or bobo tepe, bobo home, bobo agba, bobo veduba agba ji. I mean, it has so many. Depending on the Ewe dialect, you have so many words to it. So it is like you say. Some people can call it bobo agba, but it is not even complete in that way. But some people will call it agbasa. I think so. Bobo agbasa. Maybe you can put that one. Agbasa. Yeah, because you see, in Ebe, we don't just set up altar. It's a whole room or a whole place you give to your spirit. So you just call that place the place for spirits. That's the normal name to call it. It's not like altar. It's a place for spirits. Place where you put spirit, we call Bobo Nope, Bobo Home, Bobo Feme, Bobo Tefe. So it is not like one straight. This is not. We don't have altar. We don't have altar. So every spirit have a place they give it. So you say this is spirit. This is its place. We don't even call it shrine. Yes, that's a spirit's place. So it is not like in English where you have the word altar to represent where spirits are placed. But we just call it spirit's place. Where spirit, it can be in the bush, it can be in your house, can be outside in the town, but it is where spirits stay. You can call it another common name, which is this in Voodoo Home. Voodoo Home. No, it's X as in R. Voodoo Home. It's one name, Home. Home means room. Voodoo room. So Voodoo Home. And then another word will be a tron. A tron home. Tron home. You remove the E, write tron. Keep that capital. Yeah, tron home. Yeah, this will make more sense. Yeah, tron home or voodoo home. These are the names that you call altar. We don't have like altar as in English word. Of course, in the spiritual room, the voodoos are all placed on some on tables, some on the ground, some are put on certain platform. But in general, they will just be called a tron home or voodoo home. Yeah, that's what it is.
Thank you so much. That was some amazing and helpful information.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have one other random question.
Go ahead.
May seem weird, but are you familiar with the vegetable known as okra? And is okra a sacred vegetable in Ewe Voodoo?
Everybody is laughing when you mention the word okra. Yeah, okra has so many spiritual works. Okra can heal you from hemorrhage. It can heal you from waist pains. Okra, I don't know. It has so many medicinal and voodoo work that it does. Okra can also be used to set up a policeman in your house, whereby there's nobody in your house, but when thieves will come, they can all run away. They will stay in the house until you come back to catch them. So okra has so many spiritual ways and values in Ewe Vodou. Until you meet people who know what to do, then you learn from them. But there are so many things okra does in our Ewe Vodou.
And you call it okro?
Yes, we call it okra.
In every language?
No, we call it fetri.
Okay.
In every language, we don't call it okra. We call it fetri. F-E-T-R-I. Fetri. Fetri. That's this.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, because in English, we call it okra, O-K-R-A, and in Creole, Louisiana Creole, we call it gombo or fevi. So that's why I was wondering if there was a similar word to fevi.
So maybe it
is. Sounds close.
Maybe fetri is what they are saying fevi. You call it fetri. Yeah. That's the every word fetri. So maybe it has been adopted.
I think we get it from the Fon people.
Yeah, but
I think in Fon they call it fevi.
Okay.
And that's, I think, where we get it from.
Probably. Because the fetri and fevi is almost similar. And because Fon and Eve are close to each other as well, they are cousins. So we have some words in Fon which are in Eve and some Eve words in Fon. So I think so.
Okay, Papa, thank you so very much for all the help.
Welcome, Daniel. Thank you very much. Do we have some questions up there? Yeah.
Mr. Bokor, this is Zeal again. Can you spell the word for healer, the Egbedola?
Bedala, G-B-E, G as in goat.
Oh, wait. Can you slow down?
Okay. G.
Okay. G.
B. B as in boy. E as in elephant. Be. That means herb. Be is herb. Dala.
Oh, okay.
Dala means D-A-L-A. Be Dala. In English, you will say healer.
Okay, two different words.
Yeah, there are two different words. Be Dala. They are not Be Dala as one word. It's two different words. Be as in the word for herb. Dala, person who uses herb to heal. So a healer will generally be called Bedala.
Bedala. Okay. Yeah. And let me just spell it back to you to make sure I got it right. G is in grass, B is in boy, E is in egg,
yes.
E is in egg,
yes.
A space
yes.
for the second word,
yes.
which is D is in dog,
yes.
A is in apple,
yes.
L is in love,
yes.
and A is in apple.
Right, you're right.
It's interesting because I spelled it wrong, and when I went to Google to look up something, I came into an essay that was about using sound in Ewe healing, and it was really, I couldn't see anything about it, but I thought it was interesting, and I thought I might go back and check out the essay and then maybe come back with questions to you if I had any. But if you have anything to say about the use of sound in healing practices, I'd love to hear that too.
Oh, the healing is because, when we do incantations and invoke energies, it's all sounds. And it is those sound that is helping to form nature or inform nature about your purpose and your desire, what you want to do. And then that creates the healing. So there are words that are used, which of course words are to be pronounced, they are going to be sound, and these are the ones that go with healing. So sounds are also very important in healing because we have to invoke and we have to command energies to come and do the healing.
Okay, does this sound?
You know, in Ewe we have our language is like a tonal language as well, so it rhymes someplace, same spelling of the word, but when the tonation goes down or goes up, it has a different meaning. So you see, like the word I'm saying, be, it is like herb, but that same word, GBE, when they say be, means sound. Be means sound. Be becomes herb.
Oh, that's so interesting. Wow.
But be becomes sound. So our Ewe language is a tonal and it rhymes. The higher the pitch, the different meaning. And when it comes down to it is different meaning. So you can only know the meaning of the word in the sentence.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. There is the Ewe dictionary on the Google, so you should try to access it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think Benny Moswani is asking, are synthetic manufactured products like perfumes, essential oils, or so and so on that used in some of spiritual practice still possess original spiritual energy, especially the products coming from supermarket? Yes, I think they do, Benny. We use essential oils to do some spiritual work because some spirits, or most spirits, like the perfume. They like the smell. And you know, some of these perfumes were actually made out of herbs, flowers, and all this thing, like rose perfume would be an extract from rose, but maybe they added oil to it before being able to extract it. So the smell of rose is in that rose oil, or rose flower smell is in that. And then other herbs which are, or flowers that are very nice, have nice smells, also are extracted into the form of oil. I think this actually started with the Arabs when they lost all their herbs and all this thing due to the desertification of their land. They convert most of the herbs into oil form in order to preserve the smell. That's why if you notice, a lot of people from the Muslim countries use a lot of perfumes more than the physical herbs because they don't have access to the herbs. So the spirit world also assume that the smell is what is important. Maybe it's not the physical thing. When the herb is dead, but the smell remains, then it is useful. So yes, we use them even from supermarkets, and I buy most of my products from the market anyway, and I use them, and it is effective in the when I'm using them. Then we have Mike Thomas. Papa, when you were in India, did you visit temples where sacrifices were being performed, like Kali temples? No, no, I didn't visit temple because the group in which I was a monk in India was practicing tantra yoga, which is very serious disease, and we were vegetarians, and we practiced what they call ahimsa, no non-violent, ahimsa, non-violent. So even if the time I was in India, I don't think I would have loved to see animals being sacrificed at that time. I wouldn't have even felt comfortable if I had seen that. But I have never been to Kali temple where when animals are being sacrificed. No. I know about it. I have heard about it. I have read about it, but I have not been into Kaligat myself to see the animals being sacrificed. No.
Papa, please, when I was in India, I saw a temple, the Hadimba temple. It's in Manali area. They still sacrifice goats and things to the ogress over there.
Yeah, so that is it, because no, there is not a sacrifice is not devoid out of Hinduism. It's still there. The people still practice it, but as the question that I was being asked by this guy on this, I haven't seen any done in India. It is Mike Thomas was asking, but you had seen India when you went to Delhi, right?
No, and Manali, close to Nepal.
Okay, going to when you were going to Nepal.
Yes.
Okay.
But Manali, some area.
Okay.
Sorry, not Nepal, close to Tibet.
Closer to Tibet. Okay, okay. And that was still that was still in India, right?
Yes, it was in India. It's called Hadimba Temple.
Okay, that means there is a god.
When you go there, you can see the horns of the goats and things. So it's on the tree.
Okay, that means
like that.
That means that spirit like to eat goat meat. Somebody's all the time. I thought somebody went to open. Okay, so people on this thing come and let's. Somebody's at the gate. Who? Did you open the gate for him? They still pray. The doorbell is still ringing. I think we have exhausted questions on Facebook and on YouTube. We don't have any question unless, okay, let's wait for the technical people to come and sit down and I see whether I have some question there. Okay, there's 2 new questions there, but I can't see them now until they come to move the cursor. Can't see them now. Who came? Shehu. Whichever it was it. Please give me the this. Let me answer questions. Oh, these are all okay. There's okay. We have our big sister Oluchi also. Okay, laughing very seriously there. I don't know what I said. That when I say maybe when I said that the spirit might probably like goat soup, goat meat. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because otherwise, if the spirit doesn't like goat, you will not kill goat for it. But there are some spirits in that area. They like pig, so you will see pig head put on the altar or in front of the shrine. So if this one they are eating goat and goat head everywhere, that means they like goat. Like how my spirits like goat meat here. One day I go there, I'll go and visit them. I'll drink some goat soup there. Okay, Mike Thomas, Papa, please ask Senna if he has discovered if Chinese herbalists work with spirits since he has been studying. Senna?
Yes, Papa.
Yeah, Mike Thomas said he wanted to know whether you have discovered whether Chinese herbalists work with spirits since you have been studying in China. Do you know whether Chinese?
Yes, Papa.
They do.
Yes. So my research, I just finished 25,000 word thesis, 102 pages comparing African medicine. So the current Chinese medicine that you see in the hospital, that has been the very scientific one.
Okay.
But then even today, the original where the science got the base from was from the healers, because the government went to the different healers, they went to diviners, they went to the spiritualists, and the spiritualists, they do divination, they go to climb the mountains, they pick herbs, they use chants before they are dealing with ghosts and things like that. So even Chinese healers too, they also use spirits. They also use a lot of spiritual things. And actually that is the base that form Chinese medicine that we have. It's only that in order to make it medical and to make it accepted and standardized so that they can study it, they had to pick out only the empirical scientific elements, but then the base of the knowledge of where it's coming from is coming from Taoism, and it's coming from a lot of spirituality and also philosophy.
Okay, so I think Mike Thomas, you have heard so close. See, one problem the world has is that if it is not good for the West, then it is not good for anybody. That is what we are coming to understand. Anything that it is not good for the Western people or for the white man, then it is not good at all. So when you want to present your materials to the world, you must try as much as possible to take out what the West doesn't like, and what the West does not regard as knowledge or wisdom. So because if you don't take that out, they will make sure nobody will patronize your product. And here in Voodoo land, we are making it chakli, in the sense that we don't care whether they accept it. We don't accept it because, after all, we are dealing with the thing and we know what it is. You are not dealing with it and you don't know what it is, so you can call it whatever you like, but we know what it is. Now, they cannot explain how voodoo works. That one is very true. You can use all the scientific knowledge and everything that you have in laboratory. You cannot explain how voodoo works. You can't. And so if you don't accept voodoo and you look at voodoo as it is only the devil who can do that, that's up to you. We know that it's God who is working. We know that it's nature that is working. So if in Chinese medicine they have not presented the spiritual aspect of it, Sana is saying that with his research of writing over 25,000 words and how many pages of book, yes, just that was his research for his.
But you know, the good thing about the Chinese people is that the Chinese people they have accepted the Western system, but they have not removed and abandoned the system. So the only way or the reason why they had to move that is just for the forward facing, to present it to the world and to present it to the scientist people. But the people who are the healers themselves, even though they said they went to medical school and all of them, a lot of them are still practicing. When you go to the rural areas, they are still practicing the divination today. They are still, for example, to deal with the illness, they will call a diviner to come and do the divination at the scientific.
And so yeah, that's what I'm saying, that they remove what the West doesn't like and present it as pure laboratory science, which we in this.
Sorry.
You cut off.
Yes, I cut off. I'm saying that they only did that so that the Western people
can accept.
It will just be accepted. But when they are doing the practice itself, a lot of the rural healers are still using the divination. So they don't see the Western science and the Chinese science as against each other. So they can, for example, say if they want to deal with a problem, this person is dealing with the problem of ghosts and spirits, so they will use divination. And right after they finish the divination, they will combine it with the Western medicine. So they are combining the two rather than saying that one side is more superior than the other one. And a lot of the traditional healers, who are the real people who go and pick herbs in the mountains, their most proud achievement is not the medical knowledge that they learn because they have to go to school. It's the spiritual knowledge that they have, like the Taoist philosophies, the chants that they use in order to heal. And the local herbs that they know very in their bones that they know how to heal. So they also have their own very indigenous methodology that they haven't removed. But when you want to, they say, when you want to fight the politics of medicine, you have to fight this Western way of thinking, because the Western way of thinking looks at everything that is not Western science as religion and superstition, whereas Western knowledge is scientific truth, which is nonsense, to be very honest.
Yeah. Anyway, that's why I'm saying for us, they cannot find the meaning to voodoo no matter what. Because even we who are with voodoo, we don't know how voodoo is working. You are only taught the process that follow this, follow that, and you follow it and you get results. We don't even know how the voodoos are working because we can't even see them. So whether they like it or they don't like it, we will keep our own chakli like that. So we're just inside. So that's it. So anyway, thank you very much. So Mike Thomas, Senna said yes, they also do the spiritual aspect, but they don't present that side to the world because Western people may not accept it. And anything that is not Westernized or is not a Western knowledge from Western laboratories is regarded as superstition and inferior. That's why the Chinese are smart. They remove that part and they present the laboratory findings only to the West. Medicine is working. Chinese medicine is everywhere. Even in America, they are taking it. Okay, big sister Oluchi also okay. Said the spirit like eating goat meat. Yes. Peace and love. Of course, if the spirit doesn't like eating goat meat in that village that Senna went to that shrine, the goat will not be. The goat head will not be there. Once you see goat head in a shrine, then you know the spirit eat goat. Yes. And Mike Thomas is saying, thank you, Senna. Say thank you for the answer, Senna. And big sister Oluchi said, that is very, very bad. Most everything we, the Africans, do must go as according to the white man's law. When you do something, it is not convenient for them, they will ignore it and ignore it, and then there's a peace, Papa. Now, yeah, that's it. So when, I am doing this Facebook and I'm trying to demystify voodoo and I am trying to bring knowledge and understanding to our tradition. And you know what I've gotten? Facebook has tagged me, so I cannot even go onto my own Facebook account of African Magic Temple. I cannot. I have sent so many distinct petitions to them to tell me why I cannot go onto my own page. They will only tell you that, oh, we are working on it. And even my children who are like administrators of my page, I am the owner of the page, cannot even invite me. I am banned from looking at my own page. For what reason? The page is still there and it's still working, but I, Christopher Voncujovi, has been banned by Facebook and whoever, the powers that be. I can't even go onto my Facebook, African Magic Temple, to even see what is happening there. Whether people are writing nonsense and attacking me or putting all kind of fraudulent messages there, I cannot see, just because Facebook has tagged me and I cannot see my own page, and nobody can invite me to come to my page to even ask whether as an administrator or moderator or whatever. So whatever you are telling, if it is not in agreement with the Western world, they find ways to eliminate you. They've eliminated most of our leaders because they felt that they were going to bring sense into our countries. So they find a way to eliminate them. If they don't eliminate directly, they will bring wars. And you people will fight among yourselves until you kill each other. And they will now support the person who wins, or they may be supporting the person they wanted to be there, because that person will be a puppet to them. and to be easier for them to control that person so that he in turn will control all of you with tyranny and whatever. This is what happens. So our knowledge, wisdom, and everything, so long as it is not in agreement with the West, it's no knowledge. But my brothers and sisters, Africans in the diaspora, your ancestors were not foolish. They left so much knowledge and information down here for you. You only have to look for it and use it to help yourself and help humanity. I think we are done. Okay, we have on YouTube, we have Togbi Sosike. On the altar question, would it be fair to infer from your answer that there isn't an altar as such also, because the throne is usually placed in a way to have direct contact with the ground? Yes, that's why I'm trying to say that there is not an altar as such where people will make a altar. So a throne home or a throne room is where the altar is. The whole room is altar. So the throne is connected to the earth. Yes, you are very right. Yeah, so Sosike, you are right. Say, could it be a room, home, or out in a designated area in the yard? Yes, all the thrones are, wherever the throne is, that is their place. So sometimes it may not be inside a room, it can also be outside, but that is his altar. But the word altar as such is not there. I don't know, just it is a throne zikpi. I don't know whether we call it a throne zikpi or bobo zikpi, or I don't know. Because in the Vedome area, it is only a throne home, bobo home, a throne bo, a throne nope. So I don't know which word to use. So Togbi Sosike, if you have some better word, you can also give it to us, and we are all learning. Okay, I think we are almost at 6 p.m. Are we?
Yes, we are 6.
Yeah, 6 p.m. So I'm going to close today's section, and then we'll see you again tomorrow. We have Benny Muswani in South Africa saying thank you, Papa, and thank you too very much, Benny, for all the questions that you ask. We are all learning from one another. So thank you very much. So I think it is just in place, good in place, that I can pour libation. Mapo chidi, chipodi. I want to pour libation, and then I will close today's section, so that God willing, next week we will be here again to answer your questions and learn from one another. Se joto mi joto se na na se tie no no na fe bi ko na fe bi me yo mi o ke yo she me ham for asho se mi for asho do agu ya Abraxas me yo si ade ko do agu ta ade to be vi me kuno o wo fe so ton ka me yo do agu e me yo mi no zo je anyi de zo ka ka ti ka bo ya ade me ya la fa bo nya bo na pe ru nya bo je ru hono me yo ra ke wo nya imba ma do fro for playing down de ka me ya bi ma te ku etenga. Oh, my, what kind, but you were kind, money, what kind, Jim, what kind, zoo, what kind, trump, what kind, and you are kind, if you are kind, my new attack, and you are kind. Pay by remember, I had a do acro, Plama, do you fit about so to do you may only know that home babu, work up, work with me. Zango, I don't play very for having a job part, job maku, a fokema, or a money, or if you don't make video. Coco, I thought of performing. Job when you have a job when you try a moment you to. I'm quite a pretty many level, but over your two zombie woman or the perica job, but I have you for job. Ye jokpata be fia jokpata metro me gbeda amo abi fa gbe lead na jokpata tare na fi ajo jopata tefe me yo me si no bo ju ti pagbe de nta pa pelu ti zubolu ajima ogboju pe lo jara fun ko ba ti ma fa me ba lo jo na pe ago sapate me yo ti gari me yo ko bo du me yo la fi la fia nya tepe me yo ama gasa se ja papa se to je ba kwa me yo abu ti sakra ka bo chapa be adogo yo to be ho ba to ba kwa o nya tepe me yo ko go ho ti chia me yo mi akekelo dagbe me yo afram kotokoto chi me ja jogbe fafa godo ejotepe afa ni church japa ele ejotepe ne fa ejotepe ma fa abo mo mro ne yo mi umbuke mi do to man yo afa na go no afa gbo ma jeso pepe to so le me da pa bi me yo pari gbe meji eku meji wori meji di meji lo so meji mo ni meji abla meji akla meji goda meji sa meji ka meji trupo meji tula meji lete meji che meji fu meji pali che tula me yo kleba bi me kwa to ba do kwa to ba de nyade ma ko de di go asire di to na ba la masese kwa do ne ba na nyo petero kaka bodo amase ma pe ko ngire no le video no kwa violation di no kwa so no la gbe di no kwa gba me ba na me so ba na me nese me yo le do le ba na me nese me yo le do di no kwa do me yo le do wo do ne je do di na la masese kwa gbe di mi bi alo ngogbe yi mi bi ana ni kwa pe mi abi okure mi aba ko ma lo na kule ame yo e di mi aba nyu elo ka me yo nya me fo de le mi amure o ngu ne pa o churu. My old man always said that God is in your throat. Maua leveme. Maua leveme. So when you give food to God and you don't taste it, how will you know that the food you give to your God is tasty or is not tasty? So God is in your throat. Maua leveme. So when you pour libation, according to my old man, you must also take small so that your God will know that, oh, the food you give is good food. The same thing when you cook food for your voodoo, you must also eat some so that voodoo knows that, oh, the food you cook is good because you yourself, you are enjoying it. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you again next week. Please, during the week, if people prepare questions, you may be walking around and some question pop up in your mind. Write it down so when Sunday we come here, you just give it out and we all juggle it and see what we can do. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You are all welcome.
Thank you, Papa.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Everybody, thank you. Benny, thank you, everybody. Okay. And goodbye for today. Thank you very much.